What's going on, everybody? Thank you for stopping by the channel. My name is Matt. I'm going to be your host today, and we are going to be doing some more best ball drafting here on the Fantasy Fitness Network. Today, we'll be doing a BBM, and we'll look at some of the other tournaments that were just released in the last couple of days and probably get into some of the other tournaments. Particularly, I'm interested in the first quarter. Did a little research yesterday on that particular tournament. I'll go ahead and pull that up now real quick. And we'll take a look at it. I think this will be a fun one. It does have $100,000 up top, $10 buy-in. So I think this will be a fun one to get into. Looked at a lot of the players at each position group yesterday, and I identified somewhere between 5 and 7 players for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends that I think have really favorable early season schedules. So we'll be targeting those players in our builds, and should be a lot of fun. So I think for today, what I'm planning on doing is one BBM, maybe 1 or 2 first quarters, and then maybe we do like a cheaper draft too. We could just do like, a Dalmatian or something like that if people just want to hop in and do a cheap draft. Friends and family, that one has $20,000 up top for the little Dalmatian. Let's take a look at it. We'll look at the little Dalmatian 4 first, just so we can understand the prize money and the advancement rate. And then we'll look at the first quarter, and then we'll get into some drafts here. So little Dalmatian, this one just got released about an hour ago. We're up to the 4, so I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with this tournament. 101 entry max. I do about 10 to 15 in this tournament. I just, I'll get about 10% of the fill. Some I've autoed, some I'll do, but 3 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 6, and a relatively decent final here, 470. So smaller than the puppy, smaller than BBM. You can turn $1 into $20,000. So that's not bad. Obviously you got to get there. You got to finish, you got to be one of the top 4 teams in your initial pod, and then 1 out of 10 and 1 out of 6. I like this structure. I don't want those super soft structures where we end up with 970 people in a seat final and it's just a total crapshoot. I like the tougher cut downs so that we get to something more reasonable, 470. And then of course you get 20,000 up top, 10,000 to second, 5,000 to third. So that one's kind of fun. The Dalmatian too, this one is $101 entry, and you get 3 total, 4 out of 12, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 8, but you're only going up against 23 people. $30,000 up top. So that one's kind of interesting. And Mike Rob says he wants to see me do 20 at the same time. I did 10 at the same time and it was pure chaos. So I don't know, maybe I'll do 20 one day. We'll see. That'll be a fun show if I do that. This one though, it's like a mid stakes, I guess you could say, $101 entry fee. Nice thing about it though is you get to the finals, you're only going up against 23 other people for a chance at $30,000, $20,000, $15,000. So not one I'll do today, but something, keep this one in the back pocket for maybe another stream. It'll probably fill reasonably quick. Only 2,760 entrants in this one, so small field. And then they did the field general. This is a super flex tournament. I don't do super flex, so I won't spend any time on that. I do play super flex in dynasty leagues, but not for best ball. We'll skip on that one for now. And then let's look at this first quarter. So first quarter, we only care about the first 4 weeks of the season. It's a $10 entry fee. You have to finish top 2 in your initial pot of 12, and then 1 out of 6, 1 out of 4, and a 391 seat final. So, relatively medium size, I guess you could say. 100,000 up top, 50,000 to second, 25,000 to third. So this one definitely has my attention. I think I'll probably do 25 of these, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. 20. I don't know. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I think it's one. It's definitely one I want to get into. And as I mentioned, I did go last night and did do some research on players that have sort of front-loaded favorable schedules. We can talk about that when we do this one. So I think what I'll probably do, just to kind of warm up here, is I'll just rip a Dalmatian 4. I like to get in one draft before I do BBMs. So I'll just open this show. Maybe some people will trickle in. We'll open this one up with a Dalmatian 4. I know it's low stakes, but before I jump into the BBM, just to kind of get going for the day, I haven't done any drafting. We'll just rip this. Should go pretty quick. And then maybe we get some people in here, and I can promo BBM. So that filled super quick. And I get the 3-hole, so that's kind of nice. In here with a bunch of other badges. Only 2 no badges at the moment. But since this one's kind of low dollar and slow, while we're in here, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what I found in my research for Field General. So again, we only care about the first 4 weeks. And I found that the best QBs that have front-loaded schedules are Lamar, Joey B, Hurts, Dak, and Dart. So those are going to be guys that I'm targeting. Running backs, Barkley, Henry and Hampton, Jacobs, Bucky, and Mason. And then obviously Gibbs and Bijan. Wide receivers are JJ, Nico minus week 1, Olave, Smith, and KC Concepcion in Boston. And then tight ends were Tyler Warren, Goddard, Fannin, Ferg, and Jawan. So again, I know we're in a Dalmatian at the moment, but this is just to kind of get warmed up for the BBM. I figured I would just throw out some names there for in preparation for the Field General. Those are the kind of the best names I found for players at each position group and ones that I'll be targeting. I'll obviously do some more research, but if we move over there next or we move over there after the BBM, I'll reiterate those names, but just wanted to get them out at the beginning of this stream in case you guys are watching late. You guys don't care to do a Dalmatian, but you are interested in the first quarter, then those would be names that I would put on your short list to target for that particular tournament. Because again, all we care about is the first 4 weeks. Now, in this case, we're in a Dalmatian. 3 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 6, 470 seat final, 20,000 up top. I've been trying this new intro thing, and I kind of just play the music and show the thumbnail, and then I kind of fade out and come in late. Didn't mean to confuse you there, Mike Rob. But appreciate you stopping by the channel as always. Yeah, so figure I'm going to stream for, I don't know, about 2.5 hours today. I've got a nice window here, and just want to continue to stream and slam drafts. So let's do it. Also, if you guys aren't following the channel, do me a favor and head out there to YouTube, type in Fantasy Fitness IO. Channel will pop up, and then you guys can smash that subscribe button. All these names are super good. He goes Neighbors. I think I'm going to go Nico on the Higgins news. I've got to bump him up just a little bit. And I do trust CJ Stroud a tiny bit more than I trust Tua. So I think that combination, I'm going to just move him up just a little bit. I was going to say here, I'm either Smith or Trey McBride. I think I've been doing a lot of Smith and 0 RB, so I'm going to mix this one up and we'll go Trey McBride. Again, we're just going to warm up. I haven't done any drafting yet today. I like to get one in. We'll use this Dalmatian to just kind of warm up. Then we'll head over to BBM. We'll do some first quarter today. So gonna mix it up. We're gonna be in all sorts of different tournaments for this stream. But yeah, looking forward to getting it going. This is the tool that I built for Eliminator, but it's useful for the first quarter tournament as well, because what it illustrates is which players have favorable, neutral, or unfavorable matchups on a week-to-week basis. And so I've used this to look through each position group and identify players in those different position groups that offer early season favorable matchups. So for example, Lamar here, you can see Colts. This one's a little difficult, but then he's got Cowboys and Titans. Somebody I'm definitely going to be targeting in first quarter with a schedule like this, right? Joe Burrow, he's got, again, a good week 1, difficult week 2, but then 3 and 4 seem pretty favorable. So somebody like Joey B is also somebody I'm going to target in first quarter. We go down here to Hurts. I just missed them. Hurts has Washington, Tennessee, Bears, and Rams. Now, Rams, maybe that one's a little more difficult, but you kind of get the idea. I'm going to be looking for these types of players in first quarter that have favorable or neutral matchups for the majority, if not all, of their early season schedules. Dak Prescott is another example of somebody that I want in first quarter. So, again, we'll get over there in a minute. Right now, we're going to focus on just knocking out this Dalmatian, kind of getting things going for the day. We've got first quarter, we've got BBM, all sorts of things on the schedule for this stream. So pop in, pop out, depending on what you're doing. If there's a particular tournament you like, check in. I'll let you know what we're doing, and you can stick around for the ones that interest you. Coming up on pick 46 here. Again, we started off Chase, Nico, McBride on this one. And here, we can kind of double up on Houston. We could grab Scatabo or grab one of these wide receivers. I think I want to grab my first running back. Big fan of Montgomery this year. And when we start off like 0 RB, I think he makes for a really good first running back on these types of builds. So going to grab him here. And then up in 2 picks. Let's see. Tootin goes. No, Tootin's still there. Sorry, Williams went. So Tootin, Judkins, Bucky. What's the news on Judkins? Not spotted at practice. Okay. Let's go Tootin. I don't take a lot of Tootin. I don't have a tremendous amount of confidence in him. I wasn't very impressed with his rookie season, nor his draft capital. I mean, he has one thing for sure going for him, which is speed. He is fast in a straight line, and that is useful, but not a great rusher of the football in terms of vision, from what I can tell. And again, I'm no film bro over here, so don't misquote me or anything. But Tootin's one of those guys where I think we're drafting him largely based on projection, maybe a little hopium, team environment, and I just don't know if he's going to live up to this draft capital. So I'm definitely going to be underweight Tootin this year in my drafts, or in my portfolio, I should say, but I do have to mix him in. I don't think it would be wise to just put a full fade on him. Not somebody that I'm going to have a ton of. in my portfolio. With a tournament like this, time box that's going to be open for a while, I don't really put a ton of thought into like the game theory side of things like I do in the BBM space, where I'm looking for unique rosters for a tournament that's been opened for 4 months. I think BBM is very much a game theory tournament, whereas these other time box tournaments are much more, you know, find good combos, find good players, you know, draft a bunch of good teams and hope for the best. When I move into the BBM space, I kind of make a pretty seismic shift in my mindset in terms of how I'm trying to construct a roster, because of how much players have moved up and down the board, and thinking through how those seismic changes in player movement changes sort of the calculus in a tournament like BBM, which is what makes it a lot more fun and more challenging. Here, time box, it's gonna be open for like 3 days. Yeah, maybe I'll click a few guys that aren't, you know, getting drafted all the time at the back, but it's not as much of a thought exercise as BBM. All right, we're gonna grab Joe Burrow here. I could have, you know, tried to play games and push him around the corner, but I'm not gonna even be doing a ton of these, so might as well just get the stack. Take that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack. Let's see. What else do we want to do here? Thinking wide receiver. If DK is there, I would be interested. Nope, Kevin takes DK. So I would say Reed, Pollard, or Brooks. I'm going to go... Let's go Jaden Reed. He's a bring back to our Houston stack. I also just like Jaden Reed as a player. He's a good separator, and you know, he's volatile, but I think he's his snap share should rise this year with the way that they've reworked that offense. So I'm counting on some more route participation from Jaden Reed this year, and maybe that's just projection on my part, but I think it's reasonable to assume with Romeo out and Wicks out of that offense, 2 less guys that are going to be taking routes from somebody like a Jaden Reed, we might actually see his route participation exceed 70% this year. If we look at, I don't know, I don't keep track of this in my database, but if we look at Player Profiler, this is another fun website that I look at. Shout out Player Profiler. If we look at Jaden Reed's route participation, I want to say he's never crest 70%. You know, the one thing I don't like about this website is it's super slow and it takes up a ton of memory, so maybe we won't be able to do that. But check it out when you have time. It's worth looking at. It doesn't perform well though, so that's one thing that they need to get figured out. I like this pairing though. You kind of take like the more stable guy with like kind of the high upside, you know, boomer bust kind of player here in Tootin. So I think this is a good pairing. If I am going to take a Tootin, you know, it's nice to kind of pair him up with somebody who's a more stable asset in Montgomery. And then here we just have, you know, 2 hammers up top plus Jaden Reed, who's spiky. You know, Nico should be moving up, I think, in the ranks a little bit with the Jaden Higgins news. I haven't seen that movement yet on the draft board, but I'm doing it personally. It's reasonable to assume that those 60, 70 vacated targets that Higgins had from last year, you know, are gonna funnel over to Nico, at least to some extent. So give me more Nico Collins now. I mean, we have to account for 60 to 70 vacated targets, I think it is. Let's see what Higgins had last year. 68. So 68 vacated targets now with the ACL tear that are going to go to guys like Nico, Jalen Knoll, Schultz, Woody. I don't think, even if the pass volume goes down in that offense and they rely more on the run, it's not going to go down by 70 targets. So here, I like the idea of grabbing Michael Wilson. Yeah, I think Michael Wilson is probably what I want to do here. So Chase, Collins, Reed, and Wilson, and a double Arizona. That's about as many Arizona pieces as I want to have on one team. That's for sure. And then here we could go any of these running backs. I mean, Chuba at this new price, I was going to say Chuba. I'm okay with Dobbins here as well. Mason. Or we could pull up like a JCM or one of these guys. I even like Kenny Gainwell, and I know he's probably not coming back. So it's kind of between these two guys. Let's go Gainwell. I didn't get it in. Okay, let's go Dobbins. That's fine. I was thinking a little bit more splashy of a play here. But Dobbins is fine. He doesn't really correlate to anything other than, a little bit more stability. Again, I think Bayshaw's like the boom bust guy in this room. But let's go ahead and review this team real quickly. You guys are coming in late, just warming up here with the Dalmatian. Then we're going to move over to BBM, and then we're going to do first quarter. So it's going to be a jam-packed show today. What's up, Hartman? Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you being here. Quick $1 Dalmatian to get the day started. We go Joe Burrow at quarterback, stack him up with Jamar Chase. We have Monty, Tootin, and Dobbins in this running back room. Wide receivers are Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Jaden Reed, and then double Arizona pieces here with Wilson and McBride. We have the bring back with Reed here to our Houston double. Not a stack, but 2v1. Oh, no, I'm not skipping. Oh, Field General. Is it the best one? Okay, I'll have to look at that one. I might be skipping it. I'll have to look at it. I don't do a ton of super flex in best ball, or I haven't done any super flex in best ball, so I feel like I'm going to come in and get my ass kicked. But maybe I'll just do it and throw some money away and learn how to play it. So I do play super flex in my dynasty leagues. I'm in like 7 dynasty leagues, and they're pretty much all super flex outside of a couple that I have on FFPC. But all my sleeper leagues are super flex. So it's not that I don't know how to play super flex. It's just I haven't done it in a best ball setting. So I'll have to kind of decide if I want to get into that. Hartman says that he likes super flex. He hasn't looked at the structure though. Yeah, we could take a look. I was planning on doing first quarter BBM and Dalmatian today, but I mean, I'd be open to it if other people want to like friends and family or something. So here, I think White would be pretty cool if he makes it back. Also, I do need a quarterback, and I think Jordan Love here also makes sense. These guys don't have quarterbacks. They're also a little light on, I don't know. Do they have anything? I'm going to push Love and see if I can get him back at 123. There's a couple more I would even be fine with an unstacked Tyler if it got to that, but I'm going to try to push Love here. He ends up going to this guy just unstacked. Okay, well, is what it is. I'd rather get the running back there. Murray goes as well. I mean, Baker, I can backstack Baker pretty easily. So why don't we just take Baker and we'll just kind of go from there. So quick recap here. 2-4-4-1. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield at quarterback. We have David Montgomery, Beshal, and J.K. Dobbins and Rashad White as our running backs. I think we're good for a while there. Started off. Oh, I guess there was a little lag there, so I'll go over that again. Make sure I've closed some of my programming apps. They tend to suck up a little bit of memory. We have Reed, as I was saying here, at 75, came back and got Wilson at 94. And then, of course, Trey McBride as our elite tight end on this build. Let me get back to where we at. We want to get to the best ball zone. I'm just looking at who the Green Bay Packers play. Miami and Chicago and then Houston. Okay. Miami, Chicago, Houston. We have the week 17 correlation. Nothing with Miami or Chicago on this one, but that's fine. I think here, Boston is definitely catching my eye. If we did take Woody, we'd stop at 5 here with Woody. Shuck coming all the way back, though. If he makes it all the way back, I would definitely scoop that at that pricing, 142. Don't know that I need a third on this one. I mean, I probably should. And because I have Nico and Monty, Stroud would also make some sense here. What's going on with Stroud? On track to play Thursday. Woody goes. That's fine. Shuck is still there. Shuck goes. I think here, just looking at some of these names, we could go Chig and stop at 2 if we wanted to grab Chig. We could get that double. This guy might take Stroud. Maybe we just take Stroud here at 141, be done at quarterback, and then grab our favorite, our favorite player on the board here. We could go Chig. We could go Jalen McMillan here. He's back at practice. Maybe this is a little early for him. I got him yesterday, I think, in like the 170s. So I don't know. This might be a little early, but I don't know if he's coming back since I'm near the bookends. He fits well with my Baker piece. So why don't we grab him? I think we need wide receiver more than any other position at this point on this build. Feel good, obviously, about quarterback and running back. And we have the elite onesie here in Trey. So wide receiver is probably where we need the most help at this point. So we'll just grab him here. It's a little ahead of ADP, but again, I don't think he's coming back to 166. Maybe, but probably not. So we grab him here, stack him up with Baker. I could even just push tight end and get like an Otten and just go like Trey McBride and Otten and stop at 2. I would be completely content with that. So yeah, I mean, we could grab Schultz as well. We wanted to triple out our Houston piece. But 3, 4, 5, 1, Burrow, Baker, and Stroud, Monty, Tootin, Dobbins, and White, Chase, Collins, Reed, Wilson, and Jalen McMillan, Trey McBride at tight end. Feels pretty good. I think those are the, we have an elite here with McBride, elite, maybe even double elite with these two guys. Monty, he's not an elite, but I think he's fine as like a solid RB1, RB2, back end RB1, top end RB2. I think this combination, you get two guys here that are going to kind of be like first, second down grinders. Monty obviously catches passes too. We get more of like a third down back in White on a good offense paired up, in a 1v1 here with Tootin for week 17. I don't know. I think it's reasonable. If Trey Tucker makes it all the way back, he fits our Arizona week 17, I would snap him up. Otherwise, it would be Jacoby Lane for everything he's been doing and the buzz he's been getting. He ends up going. This guy's already got 8. It's going to be, does this guy want Tucker or does he like something else? He ends up going Ferguson. So we're going to grab Tucker here at 166. That works out perfectly with our Arizona Vegas week 17 pieces. And we get him on a pretty damn nice slide here at 166. This is where I kind of like to go into like Pat Bryant as kind of another click. Schultz is gone. So at this point, I'll go Patty Ice. We're kind of consolidating into this good offense here in Denver. Pat Bryant and J.K. Dobbins. So 2 bets here on the Broncos offense, which should be pretty good. Week 15 correlation with Vegas and Denver. That again is our 1 out of 10 week, the hardest week to advance in this tournament. So if we can get a little back and forth between Pat Bryant and Trey Tucker, maybe that helps us get out of that week. We're going to come back here. We're going to add 1 or 2 more. We'll add 2 more running backs. This feels like a 6 to me. We'll go 3, 6, 7, 2. So we're pretty much done, I guess. This means we're done at wide receiver. We went Chase, Nico, Reed, Wilson, Jalen, McMillan, Trey Tucker, and Pat Bryant. I think that's fine. I like stopping at 2 when I do the double elite, assuming I'm not waiting a ton to come back. And I think we've kind of just, picked our spots along the way. So this feels very much like a 7 wide receiver room for me. I chose to go with the 3 quarterbacks. So I'm going to sacrifice the extra tight end and we'll grab 2 more running backs here at this. Probably 1 here and maybe we can get Otten. So I'm going to earmark Otten for this build and then a running back. I like Sampson and Mike Washington. If those guys come back, I'm not counting on it, but if they make it back, we'll grab one of those guys. Otherwise, Braylon, I think he's a good click at this point. Emmett Johnson, Sean Tucker. Emmett Johnson gets pulled up. Okay. This price on Sampson is pretty wild to me. I would love it if he came back to 190. That's going to create a really unique roster because he's not usually here. We'll see. 554. I don't know. Does this guy like Kamara or Sampson more? Kind of depend. He likes Kamara. So does this guy want a 6th? He doesn't. Dylan Sampson, welcome to the team. And then I'm going to hope Otten comes back. This guy's got 2, but the other guy's got 4. So we're going to hope for Otten on the way back. He's also lower. If he ends up going, we'll go Freiermuth. Or I could do like Colby Parkinson for like a bring back. Or like a Mike Gesicki if I really care about the stack. Even Evan Ingram to some extent, he's going to be lower ownership. So we could grab him. Otten's still there. Of those 3, I think I just like Otten the most. So we'll go Cade Otten here. And then we're going to wrap this one up with a running back at the very end. Try to find like a sneaky low ownership running back to add to this room, and then we're going to wrap this one up. So quick recap of this one. This is a 3-5-7-2. We're going to turn it into a 3-6-7-2 with our last click. Quarterback room is Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, and CJ Stroud. Running backs are Monty, Tootin, Dobbins, White, and Sampson, plus a 6th. Wide receivers are Chase and Nico, double anchor. Come back and get Reed, who's a bring back to the Nico Stroud stack. Michael Wilson, 94. Kind of goes with our Trey McBride bet and our Arizona bet. Jalen McMillan for our first piece of the Baker stack. Trey Tucker for the bring back for our Arizona week 17. Pat Bryant for week 15 correlation to our Vegas. Trey Tucker bet, and then Trey McBride, K. Dotton. Stop at 2. Sacrifice the third tight end for the third quarterback, which I think is correct, or is the way I want to do it, because we're stacking Stroud with Monty and Nico and bringing it back with Reed. So here at the very end, I'm just going to look strictly at the running backs. I wouldn't mind kind of going just low ownership here too. Like, I'm just looking here, trying to think of a player who nobody's going to click, who has a path to playing time, or, you know, can find their way on the field, and then has a way to smash. I mean, we have Najee, potentially, Katron Allen, but we already made the bet with Washington, so I don't really like that. Vidal, Justice Hill, actually. This might be a Justice Hill click. He's not getting clicked all the time. I mean, he does get clicked, but he's a bring back here to our Cincinnati single stack with Joe Burrow and Chase, and he has had some big spike weeks. If we look at the best ball zone, I think last year he had like a 25, 26 point spike week. I'd have to, whoops, wrong spot. Let's go back. Our quadrant graph here, maybe we can find him on here. I still haven't added the search yet, so that's something I still need to do. But here's Justice Hill. He's over in our Spikers quadrant, 28.7. I think this is full PPR. I need to adjust that. Is he still there? Yes, Justice Hill is still there. We're going Justice Hill on this one. I want a low ownership click here. Somebody that, you know, can give us some leverage on the field. Now, this isn't like BBM, but we're still looking at 470 on this final. So, you know, we still want those low ownership pieces at the end. But if we look at him here in our quadrant graph, we see him right here. He's a total spiker. Obviously, he doesn't have like the season-long average that we get from our studs, but 28.7. That's pretty damn good. And who's behind Henry at this point? I mean, they drafted Adam Randall from Clemson, who I think is great for Dynasty, but I'm just not sure he's gonna, do a ton this year. So let's review this team. 3-6-7-2. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud. We have David Montgomery, Beshal Tootin, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, Dylan Sampson at 190. Welcome to the team. And then low ownership bring back for our Cincinnati stack with Justice Hill here at 214. 7 wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, double anchor up top, Jaden Reed, Michael Wilson, Jalen McMillan, Trey Tucker, and Pat Bryant. And then we have Trey McBride and K. Dotton here in the tight end room. So we have Burrow to Chase with the Hill bring back. We have Baker to McMillan and Otten with no Rams pieces. That's okay. That's like a nice double team stack. And then we have Stroud to Monty to Nico, and we have Jaden Reed as our bring back. 1v1 correlation in Denver and Las Vegas. I mentioned that already. And then Trey Tucker, Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson for week 17. I like this team a lot, actually. I love this team. This is a fun team. I don't know how you guys feel about it in the chat, but or in the room, let me know in the chat, but I think this is a pretty fire-ass team. All right, so we can go. I mean, if people want to draft, we could do another Dalmatian. If you guys are just kind of watching, chilling, I can go. We can rip the BBM. I'm kind of just going to do that whenever. And then I did do some research, as I mentioned, on first quarter. So want to get into first quarter. I've identified 5 to 7 players from each position group that have favorable schedules in the first 4 weeks of the season. I guess we can get into this, and then I'll do the BBM, and then maybe head back to the Dalmatian. I don't know. I've got some time today. We're just going to rip drafts for a minute. So I'm going to do this first quarter. If you guys want to hop in, head on over there. I'll wait a sec. I'll give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Of course, you guys know who it is. Fantasy Fitness, the best app on the market. I'm joking, but it's a pretty damn good one. So this episode is sponsored by Fantasy Fitness. You guys want to dominate your fantasy football leagues and your health? If so, you need to check out Fantasy Fitness. Fantasy Fitness has all the latest fantasy news from 5 different news sources, player and team metrics, and you guys can integrate your rosters if you're playing on Sleeper, FFPC, or Yahoo. You log in, you get your little spotlight page. It's got all the latest news of the day. We spotlight one player every day. We spotlight a team, and we spotlight a prospect who's still in college. You get to integrate those rosters, as I mentioned. If you're playing on FFPC, Sleeper, or Yahoo, where you get access to AI insights and just metrics about your team. And then as for your personal health, I've created 2 hubs dedicated to your personal health, the Fitness Hub and the Nutrition Lab. You got to create a fitness profile, track your diet and exercise habits. You have access to your own personal AI trainer who can help you with diet, exercise, and recovery. You guys can see here I was doing so well with my weight tracking and loss, and then I just went to a July 4th party, and it's been a battle ever since. But still doing challenges every day. I've got one with my wife right now. We're gonna run for 15 minutes straight, 75 dead bugs. So always trying to stay healthy while I'm playing fantasy football. But yeah, check that out. We're gonna head on over here now. Let's rip a field general. First quarter. And we'll hop on in here. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this particular one, like I said, I didn't want to do it yesterday because I felt unprepared. I see here, Hartman, you want to still do some research. I hear you, brother. I just did some last night and today before this stream to kind of get ready for it. We'll see if this is filling. If it doesn't, we'll probably just shoot over there to the BBM. But what I've identified was Lamar Jackson, Joey B, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and Jackson Dart as the quarterbacks that I'm going to target in the large majority of my builds for this particular tournament. All 5 of those quarterbacks have pretty soft or favorable matchups through weeks 1 through 4. Now they may have one unfavorable matchup or a neutral matchup, but in general, Lamar, Burrow, Hurts, Dak, and Dart are the guys that I could find that have pretty good early season schedule. For the running backs, it's Gibbs and Bijan, Barkley, Henry and Hampton, Jacobs, Bucky, and Mason. Those are the running backs that I'm going to be looking to target in this tournament. Wide receivers are JJ, Nico, minus week 1, Olave, Smith, and then Concepcion and Denzel Boston. The Browns open up with a pretty good schedule for wide receivers. And then tight ends were Tyler Warren, Goddard, Fannin, Ferg, and Jawan. They're kind of all those guys are going to be on my short list. I'm going to be, just looking for them in my first quarter drafts. Now this thing's not moving, so we might have to just wait for people to find out about it. We got one more that came in. I'll wait a couple minutes. But yeah, and what I did was I looked up defenses from last year. Now this doesn't account for some of the draft picks that came in and the impact those draft picks could have. But if we look here, like at the quarterbacks, for example, we look at Lamar Jackson. He opens up on the road against the Colts. That's a favorable secondary. He does have a home matchup here against the Saints, which is unfavorable, but then he's got Cowboys and Titans. So I'm putting him on my short list. We come down here to Burrow. He's got Bucks. Tougher matchup here on the road, but maybe if you pair him with somebody like a Jaden Daniels, who's got a really favorable week 2, you know, you can sort of make it through your second week. Steelers on the road, and then the Jags. So again, he's kind of on this list here. Hurts, Washington at home, Titans on the road, Bears on the road, and then Rams at home. Favorable and neutral. Dak and Dart. Dak, Giants, Washington, Baltimore, and then Houston. Again, like, you can't get them all, but if you can get 3 out of 4 favorable or neutral, that's pretty good. And then look at Dart's schedule here. He's got Cowboys at home, Rams on the road, Titans at home, and Cardinals at home. Bo is also, you know, got a pretty good schedule here. So just some things that I'm kind of looking at in terms of how I'm going to target this, how I'm going to kind of play this tournament. I'm going to be looking for those guys that have the favorable early season. We only care about the first 4 weeks. Let's check the field general real quick while we're waiting for this to load, and just kind of take a look at that structure and the prize money, all that fun stuff. Field general. Let's see where we got. Field general 2, actually. So this one is 150 max. So 33,984 total entrants. You can have a total of 150, $10. So same entry fee as the first quarter, as Eliminator, all those types of tournaments. But this is like a, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say this is small field, maybe medium field size tournament here. Structures as follows: 3 out of 12. So be one of your top 4 teams week 1. 2 out of 12, and then 1 out of 12 with a 118 seat final. So this is nice. This is like a nice size seat final. Nice size final, I should say. 50,000 up top, 20,000 to second, 10,000 to third. Yeah, this interests me as well. I could again, it's super flex, so that was probably my biggest hesitation. Was I have done 0 super flex so far this year. I have to get ready, kind of get into that mindset. The draft board looks entirely different because you're taking, you know, multiple quarterbacks in the first couple rounds and all that kind of fun stuff. But in terms of the structure and the payout, I think all that stuff is really pretty awesome, actually. It's more just the Superflex thing that I think is kind of keeping me from kind of getting going with it. But I'd be down. I mean, if other people want to get into these, and you know, it is a good way to kind of fill some drafts because I want to pace myself for BBM and stuff like that. So I could see myself using this as a kind of like a filler tournament. I'm not going to obviously max it or do anything crazy like that, but if I could get like 25 drafts in, I would be totally, I'd be cool with that. Now let's see how close we are on this one. Still waiting for 5. Okay. I'll give this like 2 more minutes. And if I see the rate fill up, then we'll do this one. If not, I'm just going to jump over and do my daily BBM for the day, and then we'll kind of see where we want to go from there, depending on how many people are in the room and if people are interested in doing like friends and family drafts and stuff like that. We'll give this just a couple minutes. But yeah, that's that one is actually pretty cool. Field general first quarter. We got the Dalmatian 2. This is a small final. Obviously, you got to fork over $100, $101 to be exact, for your entry fee, but you're only in a 23 seat final. I mean, that's pretty badass. Like that's like, you know, a little worse than like your home league or whatever, you know. That's like, this is how you could win some money. 30,000 up top, 20,000 to second, 15,000 to third. So yeah, I could see doing maybe one of these. I don't know if I would max it. I know it's only 3, but you still got to budget everything out, right? We only have so much money to spend on this sport, or this game, I should say. All right, we're down to 3. I think I'm going to just try to wait it out. It probably will fill. Getting close. Also, if you guys aren't already following Hartman FF, do that right now. Go out to YouTube, type in Hartman FF, and smash that subscribe button. He's streaming all the time. Super sharp drafter. We have a little rivalry going. He usually kicks my ass when we draft in the same rooms together. But I'm gonna get him back. That's for damn sure. I don't like losing, as I'm sure most of you guys don't either. Bukowski 1934, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by the channel. Appreciate you coming in. If you guys haven't hit that like button, do that for me now. Help me grow this channel. Trying to get to 50 subscribers by, well, as soon as possible. That's my next goal. And once I hit 50, the next goal is 100, then 500, and then I'll do the Jerry 10-hour stream. Maybe I'll go 20. Who knows? We'll make it. We'll go crazy with it. But yeah, shooting for 50 subscribers. That's the next goal. We're waiting for one. We are going to rip this first quarter, and then we'll head over to the BBM, and then we'll kind of just take it from there. All right, we are in. We're ready to go. My first quarter draft of the year. Again, we only care about the first 4 weeks of the season. Finishing top 2 in your initial pod, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 4, 391 seat final, $100,000 up top. Should be a good time. Again, I'm targeting Lamar, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Dak and Dart, Barkley, Henry, Hampton, Jacobs, Bucky and Mason, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Olave Smith and Concepcion, and Boston. And then tight ends, Warren, Goddard, Fannin, Ferg, and Jawan. Those are the guys that I've identified in each position group that have the most favorable matchups. I will, obviously those are just like fillers. You got to go get other guys too. But, if I'm in the range for those guys, they'll be the ones I target for favorable matchups to kind of mix in with your, with your other studs. If you're not in that range, how much do you want to pull those guys up to just get a favorable matchup? I don't know. That's kind of an interesting thought experiment that I would have to take myself through. But, it is interesting to think, like, maybe if I'm in the 9-hole, do I pull up Barkley because he's got a favorable schedule? Or Henry, even, like, you pull up a Henry to the first round? I don't know. I have to think about that. Hopefully JJ's just there and I can just take JJ because he's on my list. I'm kind of in that range. So if we look at Justin Jefferson's start, he gets Green Bay, Chicago, the Bucks, and the Dolphins. So I like that. CD as well. He does have Houston week 4. So CD or JJ, kind of what I'm hoping for here. We have Jackson Smith. Okay, he ends up going. CD gets pulled up. So I don't know. Maybe somebody else did their research. Now, do I let somebody like a Christian McCaffrey go? I mean, he's got a favorable schedule too. So I guess I don't. I probably end up taking him at 9 just because of the fall. I don't know. JJ's interesting. I just talked about him, but I didn't even anticipate McCaffrey would be there. If we look at his schedule, Rams, Dolphins, Arizona, and then Broncos. So I guess Rams isn't great for Broncos, but he's in the middle there. It's pretty nice. Henry, I mentioned, and Hampton both have good early season. Henry's gone. Oops. I guess I'll go Hampton. I'm just going to kind of screw around and use the tools for now. Maybe that's bad, but, we're going to try some different things in here. So we get Christian McCaffrey at 9, and then we get Hampton here at 16. Start off double anchor running backs on this one. After this, we're going to head over to the BBM streets. We'll rip that BBM, and then we will do whatever after that. Whatever we want to do after that. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Nico's pulled up here to 18. I don't know if that's for scheduling reasons or if this is the move that I'm starting, you know, that we can expect to see with the Higgins news. Guess we'll have to find out. I haven't seen this yet in BBM. I got Nico over here in that Dalmatian. So first time I'm seeing him kind of in the middle of the second. I don't know. We'll have to just see if he becomes a staple over here. Picking at 33 and then again at 40 here in the rounds 3 and 4. Nobody else that I called out. I mean, I did call out Jacobs as another running back that has a favorable schedule. So I guess if he's back there at 40, we take Jacobs maybe at 40, but I want to try to get a wide receiver with pick 33 if there's a reasonable one on the board. All right, let's see. Seeing this now too, Olave at the end of the second. This has been something I've seen in multiple rooms that I've been in now. He's getting pushed up there. Probably on the Tyson news. He's now becoming a back end second round click. Okay, this guy pulls Javonte Williams up to 27. I don't know what that's all about. You know, like that's just really, really expensive to me for Javonte Williams. Interesting decision there. What's the news on Neighbors? Okay, he ends up going here to Perilla at 30. I hadn't seen him fall this far in a minute, so that caught my attention. Let's see, what does Zay's schedule look like? Zay has a nice schedule here outside of the Saints. So if we have Zay Flowers here, I'm clicking that. Yes. I don't care about Rashee Rice. Screw Rashee Rice. Give me Zay Flowers. All right, yeah, he's got, 3 favorable matchups to open the year. Saints is his only unfavorable matchup. And then I would like I said, Jacobs. Where's Jacobs? I mean, he has a good schedule, but I don't know. ETN would be kind of hard to pass up on here as well. We'll see who's there. Brees falling all the way to the 4th round. Man, it's got my attention. Garrett Wilson, though. And I kind of need a wide receiver. Let's go Garrett. That's tough. I kind of regretted that as soon as I didn't take Brees. Should have taken Brees, huh? Hartman asks, would you experiment with any different builds in this? Like, could you do a solo Josh Allen or start with 3 RBs and stop since you have no buys and injuries? I mean, yeah, that sounds sharp. That's something else I need to think about from just like a general strategy perspective. The only research I did before I came in here today was looking at favorable matchups for players in each position group for the first 4 weeks of the season. That's the extent of the research I've done, but I like where you're going. I like where your head's at here in this sense, because it's like you could just probably, I mean, I don't know if I'd go solo, but that's an idea, but definitely just like 2 quarterback seems sharper in this. I I don't think I would do a lot of like 3 quarterback builds necessarily, especially if you're going to get an elite. The 3 running backs, I could have just done that with Brees, and I kind of, you know, I don't know what happened there. I just kind of choked, but yeah, I think that's sharp. I'd have to spend some time thinking about that and just thinking through like the logic of it all. And that's probably something I'll do later tonight, today or tomorrow, is just look at like general strategy in this tournament. And I think you're onto something there. Now, I did mention Lamar. So if Lamar comes back, he was one of the guys that I really like their early season schedule. So he would be here. He ends up going. Let's see. Wide receivers. Anybody else in this range? Waddle's gone. Evans is neutral and favorable with 1 red. We'll see if Evans is there. Jamos doesn't look good on paper. Not to say that he can't make it work, but we'll see if Evans makes it back. I think he would be the preference here. Yeah, let's go Evans. It's a little, you know, consolidating here into San Francisco. I don't know if that's good or bad, like team stacking, or, you know, should we be not getting too many guys on the same team? I don't know. These are all things I have to spend some time sort of rationalizing my way through. I did mention Joe Burrow. Do I even care about stacking him? That's another question. Do stacks matter in a format like this? I mean, I guess they probably do to some extent, but 2 out of 12 that first week. I mean, you really do have to have a monster first week to get out of that pod. Travion. What's his schedule look like here to open? Find him. Oh shit, running out of time. All right. I don't know about Travion, but I guess it's okay. It's a good price. It's a good price on Travion, so maybe we grab him here. 64. Take a quick look at that schedule for them. Okay, not great. Seattle on the road, at home against Pittsburgh. Jacksonville, whose run defense is elite, and then the Bills. Now, I mean, he's a pass catching running back, so maybe they don't utilize him. Maybe they utilize him in the passing game. Who knows? That one, that's interesting. I don't know if Travion's a good click there, but we took it. So 0-3-3-0, Christian, Hampton, and Henderson, Zay, Garrett, and Mike Evans. Seems reasonable. What do I want to do next? I did mention Hurts and Daniels. I don't think those guys are coming back, but they both have awesome schedules to open the season. Dak was on my list. So again, Dak, he'd be unstacked at this point, but I guess I could backstack him with like Ferguson, who was also on my list of favorable. So I could go like Dak, Ferg, Flournoy or something like that. So if Dak makes it back, we'll see where the, let's see. Oh yeah, Lamb got pulled up, so he's not coming back probably. And you have the Pickens drafter right here. Make some other plans. I'm going to look at who's wide receivers in my range. We have Laporta as a tight end, and we have Godwin, Sutton. Godwin, Sutton, Reed. Let's see. Tight ends. Look at Laporta real quick. Where are you, Laporta? Okay, he's up here. Couple unfavorables. I guess Tucker Kraft is decent, but he's not going to be on that snap count, so maybe he's less valuable in a format like this where you need that early season production, like right out the gate. So I don't know, maybe I'll skip on that. This guy did end up passing on Dak. So if Dak does make it back, I will take him. Yeah, Hartman says here, I think stacking is really important. It's basically like every week is a playoff pod. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you have to have the ceiling outcomes every single week. So I'm going to take Dak and I'm going to backstack him with Ferg because those were two guys that I identified on my short list. Now, obviously, I'm not stacking them with Pickens or Lamb, but we'll take them here. And I'm going to definitely target, maybe even pull up Ferg. Wide receivers in this range, we have Metcalf and Reed. I just need to blow this up to like 75. Metcalf and Reed, where are you guys at? Okay, Metcalf's looks decent. Sutton's looks pretty good. Where's Jaden Reed here? Reed's also looks pretty good. Minnesota week 1, that's not great, but the other weeks look pretty good. Let's go Metcalf. Is Sutton still there? Oh, Sutton already went. Okay, yeah, let's go Metcalf then. Get that easy to stack him with Rodgers. I think maybe on the way back, I grab Purdy. It'd be like Dak, Purdy, Rodgers on this one, maybe. Or you stop at 2 with Dak and Purdy. But, I mean, we have the Evans piece and the Christian piece, so definitely want to try to get Purdy here. I'm okay pushing tight end for now. I didn't really see anybody in that range that I cared for. Goddard, Fannin, Berg, Jawan are the guys on my list. All right, quick recap of this team. Again, this is first quarter, trying to use some mapping tools to find some favorable matchups. We went Dak Prescott, gonna try to come back with Berg on that one. Christian McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf as our wide receivers. Still looking to add our first tight end. I'm going to try to grab Purdy here at 105 if he makes it back. If not, don't have any other real stacking options for my wide receivers or running backs for that matter. Guess I'd be looking to just... Fannin was also on my list, so I'd grab Fannin here maybe if Purdy's not there and he's still on the board. I know Fannin didn't get any touches in his preseason game, and you know people are freaking out, but I'm not. He has on the road Jacksonville, on the road Bucks, at home against the Carolina Panthers, and then at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So kind of like Fannin here. Kittle, we can't count on Kittle. I think he's going to be a lot lower in this format because can't count on his production. So he's probably going to be way down the list, I would imagine. But we'll see what people would do with that. Now, there is speculation that he's going to start week 1. But is he going to like really come out firing week 1? I don't know. That's interesting. This guy, we'll see how everybody plays it here. I'm kind of interested to see what people do. But now that he's gone, trying to see what else might make sense here. Okay. This guy doesn't take Purdy. I might have a chance. The other guy already has 2 quarterbacks. Okay, he's milking the clock. We're good. Let's get Purdy. That's a double with Christian and Mike Evans. So I like that quite a bit. Now I just gotta be ready to. I mean, do I take Matthew Golden? I don't know. I'm just trying to think this through. I said Concepcion, and Concepcion and what's his name? Boston also had good matchups week 1. So maybe I just reach down and grab Concepcion here. I know he's a rookie. Rookies sometimes get off to slower starts, but I guess if he goes, I could go like Stribling. But no, I'll go Concepcion. And then I'm going to try to get Ferguson on the way back. Hopefully I didn't. Yeah, Jake Ferguson's down here. Okay, so he's the next target. Quick recap. 2-3-5-0. Dak and Purdy. Christian McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson. Zay, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, and Concepcion. And then the next targets are Goddard and Ferg. I'm going to take Ferg, I think, for the stack here. Although Goddard has a nice matchup as well. Look here at the tight ends. Goddard opens up Washington, Tennessee, Bears, and Rams. Ferguson is Giants, Washington, Baltimore, and then the dreaded Houston matchup. But the first 3 weeks are pretty solid. So I think either of those two guys, if they're there, I'm going to target Goddard or Ferguson. Maybe Ferguson for the stack. I think in a vacuum, I like Goddard more. But on this particular build, I think I want to go Ferguson. I think it's coming along pretty decent. I don't know. The wide receiver room, maybe Travion Hampton, maybe a little light there. So once we get this tight end, maybe we circle back to, or we double tap tight ends and then circle back to the running backs. I don't know. We'll have to see how we want to do that. But tight end here, and then either double tap the tight ends or come back and grab a running back. I don't think I want to go like Mike Evans, Debo, Christian. Like, I don't know if mega stacks work in this format. That feels, maybe you do want to do that and you just ping pong the points and you're just going to make big bets on offenses that have favorable matchups. I don't know. There's so many ways to play this. It's pretty interesting, I have to say, from like a strategic perspective. And is it crazy taking like Ferguson over Kelsey? I mean, he's got Broncos, then he's got Colts, Miami, the Raiders. I don't know. Is that crazy? I don't think it's that crazy. Goddard ended up going. So let's just stick with our original plan here. I think stacking matters. We're going to grab Jake Ferguson at 129. Dalton Kincaid's schedule sucks to open the year. I know that one's not good. He has Houston, and then whatever. The Lions are fine, but then 2 more unfavorable matchups for pass catchers. So I'd rather just take Kelsey, and then I would say Jawan is next. Jawan was also on my short list. Yeah, I think I take either of these two. I'm cool with both. Let's go Kelsey. I guess he's better ADP here. All right, so quick recap. Dak and Purdy, CMC, Hampton, and Hendo, Zay, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, and Concepcion, Jake Ferguson and Travis Kelsey. I think we're doing decent. You know, it's hard to say, but I think we're doing decent. Hartman asks, would you bump up Swift or Etienne with their backups being hurt? I think so. I mean, I am just in general, but I am curious what their opening schedule looks like. If we're talking just general BBM, I've already done that. But if we're talking about this this one in particular, I think they probably get a bump regardless. But if we look at their matchups, ETN on the road against the Lions, Baltimore on the road, not great, but then he's got two other really good ones here. Raiders and Falcons. Falcons and Lions are going to be inside in a dome, so you don't have to worry about weather. Not that that's a huge issue early on in the year, but it's nice to just take it completely out of the equation. So yeah, ETN is getting a bump, and I think I'd be clicking him in this format. And then you mentioned Swift. I missed those guys on my my short list, but yeah, no, Swift looks like a smash here. You've got Carolina, you've got Minnesota, Philly, and the Jets. So yeah, I've got to add those guys, both those guys, to my list. Cam's one I worry a little bit about, even though the schedule's favorable. It's like, is he going to be on a snap count to start the year? I think definitely those other guys above him, but Cam's somebody I have to spend a little bit of time on thinking about in this format. It looks like the running backs really get pulled up too. I'm on 3, and we are in the 150s, and it is pretty bare back here. So starting running backs, you just see it, right? It's very obvious from the way that this board is falling that you want to front load the running backs. They go quick. So being that this was the first time I played, I guess I'm learning the hard way. At least I have 3 with 2 anchors up top. We only got to get through 4 weeks. I'm going to grab Woody here, though, because he is involved in the passing game, and it's pretty dry back there. So we're going to grab Woody. He's got standalone value. So Hartman was talking specifically about first quarter. He references that Swift went at 26 in Bayou Bengal stream this morning in this contest. So, yeah, I mean, I think, and you kind of said it, and then I was looking here at this room. I think the running backs are going to get pulled up. I would pull up ETN though in this format for sure. He ends up going at 38. That's fine. That's his like regular price in BBM. But you see Tootin's up here at 42, Scat's up at 41. Hall fell all the way back to 45. Interesting. I think people are, you got to start strong. And if he's injured to start the year, he's probably falling on that news. Not sure why Jacobs fell to 47. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, the running backs did go early. I think for those 2 in specific, I'm going to pull them up. Let's go Flournoy. It's either Flournoy or Trey Harris, but I have the stack with Flournoy. So let's stack that up. Maybe it's not a Lamb game. Maybe this is it's a Flournoy Fur game. I want those pieces. Could go Stroud, but I don't know. Whatever. You can fall back to me. Trying to think of how else I want to build this out. I feel like we are in decent shape. 2-4-6-2. Pretty balanced. See what running backs are there when we get back on the clock. This thing is not staying like it's supposed to. All right, so on the clock at 177 and then again at 184. I guess 3 quarterbacks might make sense just because you get more dart throws at the position to score points. I have Metcalf, so I think I would target Rodgers as my or Geno as my third. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Rodgers or Geno at this one of these next 2 picks. Probably take the quarterback first. Hopefully they make it back. We've got 2. 2, 3, 3, 2. So we'll see how other people feel about a third quarterback in this format. Bryce Young is still on the board, though. And we got the other two guys, so probably grab one of them here. I don't see like a screaming deal on another player that I absolutely have to have. I mean, I do like AJ Barner, but he just went. So Hawkinson actually did have a pretty, I think if I looked at Hawkinson again, his was decent. Now, I don't have high expectations for him on the season, but question is, do I want to go Garrett Wilson or Rodgers? Probably should have been looking at that before this. Rodgers, let's go Geno. We'll stack him with the other guy. I'm going to go Geno with Wilson. All three separate buys. It would have worked out fine with Rodgers. I mean, buys don't matter again in this format. Buys are pretty irrelevant because I don't think there's a single buy before week. Before week 5. I don't know. Another question is like, would 4 quarterbacks be a good idea? You said 1, but now I'm like asking, do you just want like a ton of different options and stacks to hit? Like, would you go 4 quarterbacks? That's another thought. I think I'm going to grab Otten if Otten's here. He's somebody I trust. Or Vele. Vele could be interesting because of the other injury. To Tyson, who's may not be back in the first 4 weeks. So I kind of like the idea of grabbing like a Vele here. He could have more value in a format like this now that Tyson's on the shelf. Then I think we just end this one with maybe 2 running backs. I'm trying to think. 3, 4, 7, 2. We have Dak, Purdy, and Geno, CMC, Hampton, Hendo, and Woody Marks, Zay, Wilson, Evans, Metcalf, Concepcion, Flournoy, and Vele, and then Ferg and Kelsey. So we could go 1 running back, 1 tight end. We could go 2 more running backs. Probably done at wide receiver. I think that's what I'm going to roll into this one with. We'll see what happens. I guess, you could add somebody like a Kayshon Boutte who could get traded to Houston, or a Jalen Noel who might start getting some playing time with the Higgins injury. I guess those guys are on the table. Pat Fry and Otten would be the tight ends if I was going to add a third. And then of these other guys, I guess I would go Jaden Blue if he's still there, because he's a stack to my my Dak pick. Hard to bet on these other guys though. I guess the only one that I could really see like coming out here and playing on the first week would be like a Jaden Blue if he has a role on third down. You could always get lucky and they could use Brian Robinson at the goal line or Sean Tucker. But yeah, it's pretty sparse back here. All right, we're going to wrap this one up with these next 2 picks, and then we're going to head over to the BBM streets. We're going to rip that BBM, and then just kind of go from there. This guy with a silver badge is rolling in here with, I guess, just 3 studs. He's like, I got 3 studs. That's all I need. Maybe he tacked something on late, but he went Taylor, Walker, Monty. That feels pretty strong. And, his thought process is just like, get 3 hammers. It's all I need to make it through 4 weeks. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm looking at him because he's got a silver badge. He's got a lot of experience. So I like to sometimes look at those builds from those guys and see what their thought process is. I mean, Kamara's on the shelf right now. I heard it was a month. So we'll see. I don't, is he going to have any value in a tournament like this? I think maybe blue because if he has a third down roll, but I don't know. The idea that he's going to spike and hit your lineup feels pretty low. B-Rob goes, I guess I'll go blue. This guy, all these guys have 3 except for this guy. He's got 1. Maybe he double taps, but I'm going to go, I'll go blue. Just stack the hell out of Dallas here in each position group and hope one of those guys hits. And then, I mean, if these 2 guys aren't there, I would say maybe like a Colby Parkinson who just catches a touchdown pass. If you get lucky and he catches a touchdown pass in one of those weeks. Evan Ingram, same thing. Kind of just counting on a touchdown. I mean, with all these guys, we're kind of just counting on a touchdown if we're being honest. All right, Otten goes. Does he double and take Freiermuth, or does he stop at 2? He does have Rodgers. Ends up grabbing Cousins. Okay, he's assuming Cousins will be opening. No, and that's something you're probably going to see, right? Kirk Cousins is going to get clicked in this because he's going to be the starter, you know, maybe for the first 4 weeks, maybe not, but I kind of see where he's coming from there. Mendoza probably won't get clicked all that much in this format and is probably a terrible click if you think about it. Unless this is open and they make the announcement that Mendoza wins the starting job, well then, of course, you know, he'll get clicked. But until then, I wouldn't touch him. I'm going to grab Pat Freiermuth here, and we're going to go with the 3-5-7-3. Projected points are kind of funny. I looked at that and I thought there was a typo, but I get it. Like, we're only looking at the first 4 weeks of the season. So projected points, 796.30. All right, let's review this team. I don't know if this is a good first quarter build, a bad first quarter build. I'll have to spend some more time thinking about it, but this is what we ended up with our first one. Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Christian McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Woody Marks, and Jaden Blue. Zay, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Casey Concepcion, Flournoy, and Vele. And then tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Travis Kelce, and Pat Freiermuth. We have the triple with Dak to Blue, to Flournoy, to Ferguson. We have, bringbacks don't matter in this. I don't really think I don't want to try to figure out bringbacks in a format like this in the first 4 weeks. I think team stacking matters. I'm not even going to, spend time thinking about bringbacks. Purdy to CMC to Evans, and then Geno to Wilson, and then no Rodgers, but we have Metcalf and Freiermuth, as just 2 pass catchers in that offense. 2, I do think you want to go, probably pretty early running back in this format. We go 2 in the first 2 rounds with McCaffrey and Hampton. Tack on, Hendo, Marks, and Blue. And then I feel pretty good about these first 4, Zay, Wilson, Evans, and Metcalf, that those guys could spike in the first 4 weeks. We saw that they all had pretty good schedules. Take a big swing on Concepcion because he does have a good early season schedule and he's been looking good in camp. Flournoy for the stack, maybe he's the guy that scores the touchdown. And then Vele because Vele should be moving up on the Tyson news and he could be a factor early on in the season. And then, like I said, Ferg, we got Kelce because he fell here to 136. I found that interesting. I'm not really sure what all the logic was there. And then Freiermuth for just a third dart here in the tight end room. So that's the first one in the books. I don't know. It feels reasonable. Good way to start, I guess. It doesn't feel like I completely bombed it, but I don't know how that one's going to grade out. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to just grab some water, and then I'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to rip this BBM. So BBM streets are up next, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Smash that like and the subscribe button. Help us grow. Be back in just a couple minutes, and we're going to rip a BBM. Hi guys, sorry about that. We're back. We're ready to go. All right, so if you're coming in late, you missed a Dalmatian, a little Dalmatian, excuse me, little Dalmatian 4. We opened up with that. Then we went over and we did a first quarter. My very first quarter ever. Actually, I didn't do that last year. And now we're gonna head over to the BBM streets. Whoops. And we're going to rip a BBM. And then we will be kind of decide what we want to do after that. Ooh, we're going to go right into this BBM. I mean, this is a totally different game to me. This is, you know, the thing I love about the BBM is this is very much like a game theory tournament where we have to be thinking about, you know, where players are going now versus where they went in May, which players aren't being clicked now that were being clicked, you know, earlier, and you can get them on builds in a totally different position, you know. So guys like now that aren't getting clicked, that were getting clicked earlier, like Surratt is like a guy that I'm thinking of. Jalen Knoll, who's now kind of in the mix. There's Malachi Fields, who's, you know, become somebody now, and he's kind of on the back there. So it's just like, it's a totally different game, and it's what makes it fun. And this is probably the most game theory game, I would say, of everything on here. I definitely want to be thinking about this, you know, where players are going now versus where they were going in May, and how we can create a unique roster to separate ourselves from the field, because we are going up against 667,336 entrants. It's been open since whatever the date was. They not put that on here? I thought they put that on here. Anyways, it was sometime in May, I believe. And then 2 out of 12, 1 out of 14, out of 12, 667 seat final. So 2 million big ones up top. 1 million for second, 500,000 for third, 400,000 for second, 300,000 for 400,000 for fourth. I'm on the clock. I'm not paying attention because it's Puka Nacua. So we're just gonna roll with Puka. I knew I was in the first 4, so I wasn't even looking, because I always just take whoever's there in the first 4. Opened April 29th, Monday after the draft. Yeah, so I mean, this thing's been open for a while. You know, the guys that have already steamed up the board, and how valuable are those in your draft? If you weren't clicking Stribling in the 180s, you want to be clicking Stribling in the 110s? I don't know. Like, some the people that have them, you know, back there in the 180s probably have better, you know, at least a handful of those guys probably have better rosters. So, you know, who are the new guys that have kind of gone back, have sort of lost some steam, like an Eliza Surratt? You know, he's one guy that comes to mind. Now Najee's in the mix. He hasn't been getting clicked a lot. I clicked him yesterday. You know, we have to be thinking about those kind of things in a tournament like this, where in the short time box tournaments, those things sort of hardly cross my mind. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We gotta build a shipper here. We have no choice. We burned the ships, and it's time. It's time to take home $2 million. No Justin Herzig in this one, unfortunately. I like it when we got the big dogs in here, but I'm sure we got some heavy hitters. It's not going to be easy. These tournaments always make, these BBMs always make you think, and people are very sharp in here. So regardless of who's in this room, it's going to be more difficult. Yeah, so some of the other, Surratt was one guy that like used to get clicked a lot. He's off the table. Noel is a guy that's now in the mix that I think should be getting clicked. Booty, who might be getting traded to the, you know, I don't know who he's going to get traded to, but he might go to Houston. I know he's been talked about as like a trade candidate. Now with the injury, you have to at least consider that one. I could do London. I could also go Nico here. These are kind of the two guys I like. I want to roll Nico. I know yesterday when I was in here with Herzig, he took London, and I was a little surprised by that. But I mean, I know he's big on London. He's talked about that in some of the streams I've been in. I do like London there, but I want to get a little bit more Nico on this news, this Higgins news. The 68 vacated targets, I think it was, that are going to have to go to other people in this offense. Now, again, that volume may go down. The pass volume may go down. I'm using 68 as the number of targets that Higgins had last year, just to start this conversation. But whatever the number is, 50, 75, 68, it's a large number of targets that now have to go elsewhere. That could be Jalen Noel. That could be Nico Collins, Woody Marks, Dalton Schultz, you name it. Now, I did the zero RB thing and I have been clicking a good amount of Smith. What I kind of want to do here, though, is I want to take Trey McBride because I feel like he's been moving over more to the middle of the board. And so with Nico kind of still coming back here and Trey moving more to the middle, I'm trying to create, again, I'm just trying to create a roster that is still super strong. I don't do anything crazy from like a uniqueness perspective necessarily in the first few rounds, but I do like McBride this year. I have normally been clicking him over here, and this is where I like his price more, but I do think the gap between Bowers and McBride is probably bigger than it should be. And so I'm going to take McBride. This is probably the earliest I've taken McBride in BBM all year. And I'm only at like 4% on him, if that, like 3%. But I'm going to take him here. I'm combining him with Nico, who I think might be moving up, and Puka. It gets the pressure off at the tight end position. I like the running backs in rounds 4 and 5. And so starting this one off, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Trey McBride. Normally, I'm probably clicking Smith there, I would say. But again, I'm trying to mix up my builds a little bit here. And since McBride's been falling over into this range, I'm kind of pulling him back just a hair because I think he can go anywhere in the third. Hartman asks, are there any players that I'm hoping to catch up on exposure wise? Yeah, there definitely are. AJ Brown is somebody that I want to get a little bit more of. I was hoping he would fall to me here. It didn't happen. He's just somebody I'm a little bit lower. I'm a little bit lower on my exposure. Would like to get a bit more of him. Pickens is somebody I'm still behind on, but I wasn't going to pull Pickens up here necessarily. I see people do that, not with Nico on the board now. At this spot, I'm going to take Nico there. But if he falls into the, if I don't do a Nico build, then yeah, Pickens is another guy I've only got about 5% on. I want to catch up on him a little bit. Otherwise, I'm pretty balanced through the first 3 rounds and pretty happy with my exposures. Pickens is probably the one guy I would say. Oh, Travis Etienne is a smash here. I'm going to take Travis Etienne right here. I'm not even going to overthink this. I'll let other people overthink this. I'm not overthinking this. I'm going to grab him here. Now, do I grab another wide receiver? If David Montgomery falls back to me in the 5th at 52, I think that's an auto click for me. And then it's a question of, do I want to go do I want to do the JMO thing that Herzig did yesterday? He had Swift and JMO. So, he was doing team correlation. Do I pull up somebody like a Bucky? He's more of a back of the 5th kind of guy. So is he, is it kind of cool to pair him up with Puka here? Could I just go Puka, Bucky? I like Judkins more in a vacuum, but I don't know. I'm a little torn here. I like JMO. He doesn't really work with any correlation, but I do like him. I like these other guys too. I just have a good amount of them. Bucky ends up going. Okay, so this guy takes Bucky off the table. And JMO goes too. All right. I could go Tootin or Mike Evans, I think. Or I could pull up DJ Moore. Maybe I'll pull up DJ Moore. Do this. But again, can he pretty much go anywhere in the... Can he go anywhere in this round? I think so. He has a smash matchup week 17 against Miami. So I kind of like the idea of grabbing him. And that's not a correlation thing. With anything I'll have necessarily on this build. I just think it's purely week 17 matchup, DJ Moore against Miami. Miami's secondary sucks. And this is a smash matchup. So I'm going to take that. Maybe we get a Caleb Douglas or some other correlated piece later. I don't necessarily see it that way, but I'll grab him here. I take a lot of Evans there. So kind of getting off of the Evans click, although I do like Evans. I think it was just kind of mixing it up a little bit here. Again, trying to create a roster that other people aren't going to have without sacrificing value to get there is sort of my objective. Yeah, because McLaurin was gone and JMO was gone. So it was really, I could have gone Tootin, but I don't know. I'm not crazy about Tootin. I think it was between Evans and Moore there, and I chose to go Moore over Evans. I'm just thinking about week 17 against the Miami Dolphins secondary. Here I would be like Jaden Daniels, because you can just take him unstacked. I think that's, if he's still there, I would click him. I mean, the fall on these running backs, again, you don't see Travion on the left side of the board all that often around later. So if he makes it all the way back, I'm definitely gonna, he's on the short list. He doesn't make it back. And then we'll see what these guys do. It's one quarterback and then none and none. This guy might take May because he has Brown, or he could take Hurts. I don't know how he wants to play that. That guy grabs Caleb. You would think this guy would want May to stack with Brown. So we're going to take Daniels here. And then I'm just going to hope I get one of these running backs. I'm not going to be, I don't necessarily care. I don't like this Brooks price. I'll be honest about that. But I might still take him on this build. He ends up going good. I like these other guys that want to pull up Brooks. Like, more power to you. That's another one. Like, if we're talking like game theory, like you could use Brooks in the 130s in this tournament. Now you have to pay the 70s. Like, I don't know. Like, that ship has kind of sailed for me. Like, if you weren't clicking up a little bit earlier, I just don't know how valuable those builds are relative to the people that were getting him post 100. I mean, even 100 plus is fine, but like here, I just don't know if that really works. That's a good thing. I think I would take either Ramadre or Pollard. I guess we could skip that, but then you're kind of on the edge of the next tier of running backs, so it gets a little sketch. These guys both have 3, so kind of interesting. I'm just looking at Pollard. I know they have the Steelers. Where's Ramadre in here? This one's pretty close for me. I think I'm gonna go Pollard, and maybe that's a little, people might scoff at that, but I'm gonna do it. I think he's still a pretty damn good running back. The competition in that backfield with Spears versus like Ramadre and Henderson, I could see a world where Henderson, if he gets progressively better throughout the year, matters more at the end of the year. I think even if Spears is a factor, Pollard could still be like the guy week 17. So I'm going to go Pollard. If we get, that also sets up like Michael Pittman Jr. if I want some correlation. I don't know. I feel a little bit better maybe on this build for whatever reason. NFC South, AFC South correlation with Houston. Now coming back, you have to ask yourself about like the Diggs piece. Like Diggs used to go in like the 150s, 150s, 40s, 30s was kind of where he was for a while. He started off in like the 130s, and then people kind of got exhausted with him for a minute, and he started falling back into like the 140s, and then he signed. Is he a guy you want to take here? I mean, we saw Herzig do it with him, so I don't know. I'm just asking the questions. I think it's probably okay, but the builds where he was going in the 150s, and the 40s and the 30s are probably have an advantage. Now, were those people clicking him with Daniels? I was, because I thought he was going to go to Washington. So I have Diggs with Daniels in the 130s. I would prefer a quorum. And if I can't get a quorum, then I don't know. I mean, Michael Pittman, he hasn't moved a lot. So in some ways, it's like I almost prefer Pittman. People are gonna, yeah, they're gonna not like that. But this is less about the player, I think, and it's more about like the theory to some extent. Obviously, they both matter. It's kind of between these two, and then I'm thinking of pulling up Kenny Gainwell at the turn. Diggs week 17, Pittman, Pierce. Man. This one's tough for me. Maybe I still do take it. I know I'm kind of like contradicting myself a little bit, but I do think Diggs is probably a step above Pittman. I don't know if that was the right click, but we'll do it. And then what I think I want to do here, because I don't think he's coming back, is I want to grab Gainwell. And I like Gainwell with Puka week 17. You know, to me, it's like a 20 pick range, right? Because every once in a while you could get Gainwell here, but you know, he's been kind of a staple in this round, and then he's fallen back here. Yes, I have got him here, but I don't know. I need running back on this build. I like him for the week 17 matchup with Puka. I took the stack, but I could see like from a build why you would why I would take Pittman here, because like I said, like you could get Diggs in the 130s, and now you're kind of taking him here. If I wasn't stacking him, I think I would have for sure taken Pittman, but because he's part of a stack, I think it's reasonable to take him. I'm gonna take Kenny Gainwell here. So I want him for that week 17 1v1 with Puka Nacua. I think that he could be a factor in that game. You know, it's not, JCM is off the board. You know, maybe White falls back and I take White. That's another guy who was going in the 120s, steamed up, and now he's back in the 120s. So he's reasonable to sort of click in that range. And he would be a stack with Daniel. So quick recap of this team. This is BBM 1341. We have Jaden Daniels. We have Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, and Kenny Gainwell. We have wide receivers Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, and Stephon Diggs. And then we have tight end Trey McBride. I like it. Feels a little light at wide receiver, but I mean, I do like the build so far. DJ Moore's a week 17 click here more than anything because I like his matchup. Daniels to Diggs is the stack, but I could have gone Pittman there because, like I said, you know, people are getting him in the 130s. I don't know if he's as valuable here on BBM builds at this price, but we're going to do it anyways because I have the stack. And then ETN, Pollard, and Gainwell. I think that's a fine three. And I would add White here if he comes back. I also like Concepcion in this range. I like Wendell. I mean, Wendell kind of fits this one because I have some Tennessee. He'd make a fine 5 here. Now, this is another guy who's fallen, right? You were taking Jacoby for probably the first 50, 60% of this in like around pick 190. Now he's fallen way back. So he works on this build, and he's a guy that falls back. Who's fallen back. So I think that's good. You know, it's good to mix those types of guys in on these builds. And he works with my Washington pieces. Fannin at 117. If everybody's fudding on him, I will scoop that because Stafford to Puka. I don't get that one. That's okay. I could have pulled him up, but I'm not too worried about that. If I get him at this price, I'll take him, but I don't like Stafford at 100. Oh, that would have been sick. Here's another guy, though, Kyle Manungai, who we're getting at new prices. So this is somebody I want to click in this format specifically because this is a more unique build. You're not going to have as much of this. How long is his price going to be here? I don't know, but I'm going to take that. And now I feel good at running back. I can focus on these other groups. Tyler Shuck to stack up with ETN sounds pretty fire. Get a like Vele at the end. I already have 4 here. I went 3 in the first, 5 rounds, 6 rounds. So I'd actually be more inclined to take Shuck here. Now I don't know if I'm going to get him. Is this the Olave guy? No. Is this the Olave guy? Shuck or Concepcion? I want to take Shuck over Concepcion if Shuck's there because I have the ETN piece. Works out on the buys. Yes. Go Shuck to ETN. I think you're also going to get a lot of Shuck to Olaves in this format. So to go Shuck to ETN, it's a little sort of off Broadway, if you will. I like that more in this type of format. So let's recap this team. 2-4-4-1, Jaden Daniels, Tyler Shuck, Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Kenny Gainwell, and Kyle Manungai. Wide receivers, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, and Stephon Diggs. And then tight end, Trey McBride. In this next range, let's see. I mean, we're in like wide receiver. Yeah, kind of like the wide receiver range here. I like how it's coming together. I mean, obviously stacking up Puka with Stafford is good, but I don't want to pay pick 100 for Stafford just to get the Puka stack. I already have the 1v1 with Gainwell and Puka. End up getting Shuck at a better price, and we get the fall on ETN. And I think he's gonna, yes, he fell back into the left side of the board in round 4, but I imagine he's gonna start getting pushed back up to the right side now with the injury to Kamara. So how long those prices are gonna last at the back of the 4th. And he was a staple at the 3-4 turn for the large majority of this tournament. And it was only recently where he fell to the back of the 4th. And those were probably for like a month. Those prices were available, maybe a little more than a month. And now he's back, I haven't seen him over here in a while, but he fell back in this one. So taking him there. We could stop at 2. We could also add a 3rd. We could add like a Ward. We could add a Shuck, or not a Shuck, sorry, Stroud. I don't know if I want to spend up on that. These Concepcion prices, I mean, this is a good price, but you know, he was going in like the 110s, then he fell back to like the 130s, and then he was back in like the 1-teens. You know, you get him here in the 130s, that's fine, but I don't think that's like anything crazy, you know, like unique. Boston, I like Boston probably, maybe not as much, but I like him quite a bit. But Boston was another guy that you could click in the 160s. Now you got to pay 140. So that's a little less attractive to me. Still fine, but. Yeah, let's go Boston. I don't necessarily need Stroud on this build. If he comes back to 148, I take him. If not, I'll probably pull up like Trey Harris, Trey Tucker. I've got the 1v1 with McBride. I don't even know if I need Stroud on this build because I have an elite in Daniels. And if I do want to get one, I'd almost prefer to just wait. I mean, it is a single stack, but I don't know. Do I even want Stroud on this build? I feel like I want a wide receiver more. This is another one too, like Tracy. Like now you're going to get prices in Tracy that you couldn't get before because he missed the block and they signed Najee Harris. Well, it's probably when you want to be clicking him in BBM at these new prices. Yeah, well, this guy takes the Stroud decision off the table for me. So now it's between these three guys. These three guys. Do I want that? Do I need that? I'm just gonna go with my dog. Let's go Trey Tucker. He's not coming back. He occasionally comes back, but he doesn't come back often. So pulling him up a little bit and getting him with McBride for week 17 was something I had in mind when I took McBride, actually. So, you know, it's close. Maybe you take Tracy there because of his new pricing. It's not like crazy different. People were getting him in like the 130s, 140s. If he comes all the way back at 165, that's like insta-click. We'll see how much the room reacts. I have seen some screenshots where he's going in the 160s now. So we'll push him a little bit further and see how much the room is going to punish him. Ferguson on a build like this gets my attention because we have like Puka and Ferguson with like a Gainwell. That could be interesting for week 17. Two, 4, 6, 1. Daniel Shuck, ETN, Pollard, Gainwell, Manungai. Puka, Nico, Moore, Diggs, Boston, Tucker. That's solid as hell. We have an elite here in McBride. ETN, Pollard, Gainwell, Manungai. It's a little weak, but it's not terrible. Tracy coming all the way back for sure. Okay, so his new price here, Anthony Little 12 takes him at 158. Something to make note of. Now Cam Ward coming all the way back, you know, to 163 with the Pollard piece. I think that would make some sense. It's not like there's anything else I have to have here. So we'll see if the room wants to add him as a third. I think I would be on board with that. Otherwise, Ferguson and Schultz. Travis Hunter, though. This is also a good price on Hunter. And I am into that game. So, if, they want to... Okay, Ferg is off. Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. Kind of between these two for me. Let's go Cam. It's a good price on him. I know he occasionally falls here, but, a round of ADP. I haven't been clicking Cyrus Allen, but I'm not opposed to it. Trying to think through what else I like here. No real running backs. I mean, Samson. But then, yeah, after Samson, it gets pretty sketch. I mean, I guess we could wait and take like a... Travis Hunter's still here, though. We're going to click him. If he goes, then... Because we can afford him. And if, I know he only had 2 snaps on offense in practice yesterday. People might be freaking out about that. But again, in BBM, at this price, in a game where I have Washington... You got to roll the dice to win $2 million, man. I think we can stop at 7. Puka, Nico, Moore, Diggs, Boston, Hunter. Like, I'm good stopping at 7, even if Hunter is a dud. I think these 6 can get you there. So 3, 6, 7, 2 is sort of how I see this setting up. I don't know what running backs will be there when we get back, but I feel pretty good about these 4. We got that nice price on Manungai on the hyperextended knee injury. He falls. I mean, he's already fallen, but he really falls in this one to 117. I think this is great for BBM because it creates a more unique roster. Now, if he becomes a staple back here, then it's kind of like, okay, like whatever. Then there's going to be a lot of builds with it. But if this doesn't become like a common thing, then I think this is good for BBM, for a BBM build in particular. The Vele click, I don't need it, so that kind of sucks. Maybe, I talked about getting it, but again, he's going to become a staple now on the board for, what is it, 70 or 70% of the way through? 69. So yeah, 70% of the way through, Vele is going to be on BBM builds because he's getting clicked on every one. Douglas as a bring back. Okay, he went. I was going to say Douglas as a bring back to our Moore piece would have been kind of fun. But I think the other guy is Chris Bell. So Chris Bell is not getting clicked. He hasn't been on 70, I say 70%. I say it generally speaking. Bell wasn't getting clicked for the large majority of BBM because he was hurt and it was expected that he wasn't going to be playing. I think he might not even be on the pup list or something like that. So Chris Bell is another guy that I want on a BBM build. Now, I don't necessarily need him here because I'm 7, but I'm just bringing him up as a name. I think I'll be looking for somebody like that maybe in the wide receiver or in the running back room on this build. I could consolidate a little into Buffalo here with Ray Davis. Ha! I love that. What's up, Young Moolah? Good to see you, buddy. Sorry, I get like kind of tunnel vision when I'm doing these BBMs. My apologies. In Gunnar Helm, I don't take a lot of Gunnar Helm. I have to at least consider it. Gadsden, even at these prices, like that's another thing. I'm going to grab Ray Davis first. I kind of want him. And then there's 4 different tight ends to click here. I can go with any of these guys. I don't like Dulcich, though. I can go with any of these three. But this is a guy you have to at least consider now, because it's like for a large majority of this tournament, he was going in the 140s, and then he fell back after they signed. It was going in like the 130s. Then he fell back to the 150s because they signed David Njoku, and now you're getting him at like pick 200. So on a tournament that's 70% full, I mean, to me, this is even though he's a faller, to me, this is an advantage in a tournament like this. Like, you want to be making this click, I think. Does this guy have any reason to take him? No, not necessarily. He might want Dulcich, actually. Even though I have Helm and I have the stack, I think in this type of tournament, this is the click I want to be trying to make to create a unique roster. I don't think he's entirely dead. We're getting him at 196. And I want a unique roster. I'm going up against 667,000 other builds. And he was going in the 130s, then the 150s, and now I'm getting him in the 200s. How many people are going to have Gadsden at pick 200? Like, yeah, he might be dead, but I have McBride. Like, this is how I think you try to get an edge in this type of tournament. I don't know. I could be crazy, but that's how I'm thinking about it. 3-5-7-2. We grab one more running back, or we grab a wide receiver here. Done here. Daniels, Shuck, and Ward. ETN, Pollard, Gainwell, Monungai, and Davis. I think you could get away with 5 there. Puka, Nico, Moore, Diggs, Boston, Tucker, Hunter. Yeah, I kind of want the extra. I mean, we could go. Let's see. We could go Katron Allen. He's not getting clicked all the time. Yeah, he might be more common by the end. Hartman says, he can be, but it's going to be 30% of the field that's going to get him at those prices. That's still 70% that's not going to have those on their builds. And I'm hating too. Again, I think of BBM more from a game theory. Like, when I go into BBM, I think game theory. I don't think all about player takes and stuff like that, because it does matter. Uniqueness matters. Like, you have to get unique. Now, I'm not saying he's like you want to take horrible players, but I mean, he had a couple spike weeks last year, and yes, he's behind right now, and I think that's to our advantage in some sense. I kind of like this idea of going Mayer and getting a third, even though normally I don't take 3 with him. If he is dead, I don't really need the wide receiver. It's kind of between him and Chris Bell. Is Chris Bell still on here? To me, it's these two guys, or Gunnar Helm. I'll answer your question in a sec. Sorry, I'm trying to think if I want to go Mayer or Chris Bell here. Or Gunnar Helm, I guess. Gunnar Helm, if he's going to come all the way back here. I want Gunnar Helm. Mayer, Gunnar, Helm. Chris Bell. Might go Go Michael Mayer. Got to go with my dude. He's also a very low ownership click as well. And they play a lot of 12 in Shanahan's system. So I've got the elite. I've got the guy who nobody wants anymore and maybe a total 0. And then I've got somebody who could spike week 12. We already saw him score a touchdown in preseason. I've got the 2v1 here with McBride, Trey Tucker, and Michael Mayer. So your question though, it only makes sense if you think Gadsden is significantly better pick than them because they're getting more leverage with less drafted guys, if that's the idea. Let me think about this. Well, let me go back up. This is always fun. I love this stuff. All right, let's go back up to where my last comment was. So GAB for Life says, what up, Best Ball Bro, Fantasy Fitness? Smash that like. Yeah, smash that like. You guys are in this room and you haven't smashed that like, I'm going to tell you to smash it right now. And stop and go to GAB for Life's YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button as well. And check out some of his streams. His intros are fire. His intros are absolute fire. So go check that out. Sorry, Bayou Bango, but Vele stinks. Yeah, Vele's not that good. And now that he's getting clicked on all the drafts, I don't know how much he offers at the back, but I mean, it's reasonable to mix him in because of the injury. Armin says that Gadsden feels like a tight end 3. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where he's at on the... I mean, if we pull up Our Lads, let's do that real quick. Let's see where Our Lads has him. Tight end. Dude, he's listed as the tight end 1. Look at that shit. Screw your Charlie Kolar and your David Njoku's. I'm not going into that vortex. Not a chance. Dude, I want the guy that's like the athlete that can go and like rip off. Like, let's go look at his game logs real quick. Charlie Kolar, dude. Get out of here. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the general Charlie Kolar vortex when I say that. But let's go look at this. I just want to look at his game logs. I know it wasn't great, but he did have a couple real good ones. So let's go to a team that I have him on. I know I have him on this team. We look at Gadsden. Check out his game logs. 33.9, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 164 yards, and a touchdown. Came back the next week against Minnesota. Had 70, what is that? Oh, snap percentage, 77% snap percentage, 5 for 5, 77 yards, and another touchdown. So, I mean, I just need him to do this one time. And you're going to tell me Charlie Kolar is going to score 33.9 fantasy points? I mean, you have to go for the ceiling. You have to in a tournament like this. If this guy's a complete 0 or he's 33.9 and you guys are going to give him to me at 196 when he was going in the 130s, the 140s, and the 150s, and now there's only 30% of the tournament open and you can get him in the 190s. And how many times is this actually going to happen? I want this every single time. It's all about game theory. JB for Life is right. It's all about game theory in the massive field tournaments. 100%. 100%. And then what does he say? Gadsden attached to Los Angeles Chargers offense is super valuable at that price, especially if attrition occurs. Contrition occurs? Yeah. Attrition. Yeah, exactly. Attrition occurs. Exactly. So, I'm basically saying there's an injury and Njoku's washed. Charlie Kolar is a blocker. Anything can happen. Something happens to a wide receiver. Trey Harris doesn't hit. They have him running more routes. like in a large field tournament like this, I want a roster constructed like this in BBM versus tacking on a Charlie Kolar or tacking on a David Njoku. Now, if this guy was gone, obviously, then that's another way to play it. But at this price, like I'm going to take that every time. Let's review the roster. You guys can make fun of me, whatever. We can go through it. But 3573, Jaden Daniels, Tyler Shuck, Cam Ward, Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Kenny Gainwell, Kyle Manungai, and Ray Davis. We have Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Denzel Boston, Trey Tucker, and Travis Hunter. And then Trey McBride, Aronde Gadsden, and Michael Mayer. So we stack up Daniels to Diggs, and we bring it back with Travis Hunter, who, again, nobody wants at this point because he had 2 offensive snaps and could be a complete bust. I get it, but I'm getting him at pick 172. He's second overall. What if attrition happens on that offense? What if Parker Washington's injury's worse? What if Myers gets hurt? I mean, just anything. Like, anything can happen. Tyler Shuck to ETN. No Atlanta bring back. So just a wide receiver, a quarterback to running back stack, but a guy who catches a boatload of passes. I mean, not maybe a boatload, but he's good in the receiving game. That's probably not fair to say a boatload, but he's good in the receiving game. And Kamara's pretty washed. And then we get a fall on Cam Ward here at 165. I also get it with Pollard, which, again, most people are going to do the Wendell thing. Most people are going to do the Ridley thing. So this one is going to be less common. People are going to stack Ward with Pollard less, or they're going to do it Pollard and somebody. So to do it just as this, it's getting a little bit more unique. He's involved in the passing game. We get Kenny Gainwell. I pulled him up because I wanted the 1v1 with Puka. That was a thing I had decided pretty early on after I had the 4-hole, and I wanted that. I just want that 1v1 for week 17. Manungai was a fall. Maybe he becomes a staple back here with the hyperextended knee. Maybe this is a more unique roster construction because not everybody's going to let him slip this far. So getting Manungai here, again, I think it's valuable to this running back room and to this build in general. And then Davis was just kind of there. I had the Buffalo pieces. Maybe Cook gets hurt. Maybe they sit Cook because they've got a 2-game lead on the Patriots and they don't even want to play Cook. So they run Ray Davis out there week 17 against the shitty Miami Dolphins, and he has a game. So I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of ways he could be a factor week 17. And then I play into that Vegas game with the Raiders and Arizona. I get Trey Tucker, I get Trey McBride, and I get Michael Mayer, who's a low ownership click. He's not going to be on a lot of builds. He hasn't been on a lot of builds thus far. He caught that touchdown. I was thinking he would start to get clicked more. He still hasn't. So we grab him here, and that's a little hedge on Gadsden. So that's where my head's at. Whether it's good logic or bad logic, I'm just explaining it. The incumbent listed as the start and preseason depth cards could have seen that coming. I hear you, bro. I hear you. But I just don't think he's entirely dead. And if you want somebody with an athletic profile who can go off and rip 33.9 points in a game, it's not Charlie Kolar. I can promise you that. Now, is Gadsden going to do it? Probably not. But if there's one person on that roster at the tight end position that can actually do that, it's this dude. Because he's already done it. So that's not me just saying it. The proof is in the pudding. All right, well, that wraps up this BBM. I feel pretty good about this one in the portfolio. We'll add it. And we're going to go rip another one. Let me know what you guys think of this team in the chat. Give it a grade. A, B, C, D, F. You won't hurt my feelings. I can do another Dalmatian 4 if you guys just want to do like a $1 friends and family. Is he a better athlete than Aronde Gadsden? Is his RAS score better? It might be. I don't know. I'm not asking that facetiously. I'm asking that like intentionally. Because I know Gadsden's like a very good athlete. So curious if Kolar is a better athlete than Gadsden. But I'm gonna go rip up Dalmatian 4, and then well, actually, let me check with my family real quick. If you guys want to come in here and we do one, let me check real quick. I'll be right back, and then we'll take it from there. Give me just a sec. You're in the vortex, bro. You're in the vortex. You've entered the Kolar vortex. Kolar and sorry, I'm back. I had the mute on. Kolar is a great athlete, has better RAS score than Gadsden. Kolar is 9+. Gadsden's was 7.9. Kolar and Njoku were 9+. Gadsden 7.9. Paulino's in here, says Kolar curious. And Paulino says, I wasn't really until Gadsden was playing with Trey Lance and Kolar got rested. I could be overreacting to preseason stuff though. No, I mean, it's fair. I think what I'm trying to say is that, you know, is Gadsden going to be going back here for the rest of this tournament? If everybody thinks he is, and he's going to be in the 190s for 30% of BBM, then what I did isn't that unique. If he stays in the 170s and for the first 50% plus, he was going in the 130s, 140s, and 150s, and then something happens to Kolar or Gadsden figures it out, or they have him running routes as a wide receiver, then, you know, he could have value. We've already seen a spike week from him. Does that mean that Kolar can't do that? No, it doesn't mean he can't do it. But if I'm gonna, like, I've seen somebody already do it, and I'm getting him in the 190s, and there's a lot of things that can happen over the course of a season, and 70% of the tournament is filled. It might. I'm not saying it's going to give you, but it may give you leverage if you're getting somebody like Gadsden, who's we've already seen a big game from, and a lot can happen over the course of a season. Everybody's going to be getting, you know, for the last 30%. Either Kolar's not going to be on any rosters, or he's going to be on 30% of the rosters at the back. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think through the theoretical side of a large field tournament. I'm not trying to get so stuck on the player. A lot can happen over the course of a year. And I'm trying to think of this from a game theory perspective. It's a 667,000 entry tournament. And I'm trying to see if maybe from a game theory perspective, Gadsden in the 190s gives you an advantage. If the rest of the way he's a staple back there, then that then that leverage that I think I may have gained dissipates or disappears. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he's a 190 staple for the remaining 30%. If that's not the case, then a lot can happen over the course of a season, and he may provide some leverage potentially. I'll just leave it at that. All right, I'm going to jump in here. 10 seconds. Little Dalmatian 4. If you guys want to rip this with me, going to do one more and call it. We started off with the Dalmatian 4. We went to the first quarter. We went to the BBM, back to the Dalmatian 4. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I've got Sacrilegious in here at the 9 hole, so this will be fun. I don't know if he's just autoing this or if he's actually sitting down and spending his afternoon, evening ripping a $1 draft. But we do have Sacrilegious here at the 9 hole, so that'll be kind of fun. It's always fun to be in. Oh, and he's a Charlie Kolar truther, so he'll probably take him in the 18th round. And we get the 3 hole for this one. Take Jamar Chase. And let's go back to the board view. We also have Willie 195, who's a gold badge in here. And then again, Sacrilegious at the 12 hole, chilling with us. But yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. If you haven't already hit the like button, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, help me out. Trying to hit 50 subscribers ASAP. That's my goal, 50. Let's see what Sacrilegious does here at the turn. He goes Cook, Genty. So Cook falls to 12 in this one. Don't see those prices quite as often, but they come up every now and then you get Genty here at 13. So I like that start for Sacrilegious. Paulino says, I made the Kolar change after hearing Jordan Rodriguez when she went to their practice, and she said that he's going to be used a lot. Yeah, I don't doubt that he's going to be used a lot. I just don't, I want to mix up those builds. I don't know that I don't know that Gadsden's undraftable at this point. And maybe he is, or maybe he'll become a staple of the back there. So it's my first time seeing him that late, and I wanted to just kind of mix it in, and we'll see what if any effect it has on that build, good or bad. But I wanted to put that one in there. Maybe I will click Kolar. I'll have more conversations about this, I'm sure, with you guys. But in that particular roster, at that price, I figured Gadsden was worth a click. We're gonna go Drake, London on this one. Last one I did Nico. Actually, I can't remember now. They're all mixing together at this point. Can't remember if I did Nico in that first Dalmatian or not, but I'll go London on this one. London Chase, that feels like a pretty fun combo. And we'll go Devonta Smith. Okay, we're going to go 0 RB on this one. Chase, London, Smith to open this one up. And yeah, we'll see what, I mean, I'll keep an eye on Sacrilegious's build here as well. We'll review his team at the end, since I think a lot of people know who Sacrilegious is. It'll be worth kind of looking at both our builds at the end. Should be a good time. Coming up on 2 hours, 2 hours and 39 minutes in this stream. And we've covered a whole bunch of stuff. Dalmatians, first quarter, BBMs, back to Dalmatian. So, I mean, we've made our way around the best ball streets today. That's for damn sure. I love this, man. This is why we're buddies. He says the funniest part about this debate is that he only has like 2 Kolar shares. Dude, I'll probably have a couple Kolar shares too. I keep saying I'm not going to go into the vortex, and I mean, I undoubtedly will at some point, because I don't want to not have any Kolar at this point as well. So it's like, I will certainly have him. I just felt like on that build, maybe it was the price and things like that, I felt like it was worth the click. But I hear you. I think you have a lot of good counter arguments, and depending on how much he gets clicked, he may only be on 20% of BBM builds. It's going to be worth probably clicking some Kolar as well. So I think it's pretty funny too that we're just going back and forth. That's what we do, man. We're trying to win $2 million. All right, well, Swift, if he's here, because he should be getting pulled up a little bit. I think with the news to the guy I just drafted in the other one, Kyle Manungai, but we're going to grab him here. If he is here, he's not, he goes. So we have Cam. I think Cam's, you know, people are getting a little skittish on him. I guess not Willie. We'll go. I don't think Luther Burden does as much to help me here as Montgomery. So we'll go with Montgomery. Maybe we take Tootin on this one and just double up the running backs if he makes it back. If he doesn't make it back, I don't know. Probably just grab one of these other wide receivers. Tootin has me nervous, man. He's a very fast running back, but I had major concerns when I was watching him and like him hitting the holes and like the vision and stuff. Like, I don't think he's got great vision. That's like my one thing with him, is he didn't look like he read his blocks very well. And I'm not a film bro, so like I have no room to like really sit there and like talk about film analysis, but there were just things about Tootin that I didn't love. I don't know what that split's going to be. I think he's fine in the 5th. If he would have made it back, I'm mixing him in 4 to 6% on Tootin, but it's not a guy I'm going like overweight on. And maybe that's a mistake, but I don't know. He's just okay to me at his current cost. Like, how much better is he than Henderson? Jadarian Price? I like Jadarian Price as a prospect and his vision and the way he runs as much as Tootin. And I know like the concerns are about Price, or that he's going to be you know, he's not going to be a factor in the money weeks, but I don't know. It's interesting. So we're going hero, late hero on this one. Chase London Smith. We grab Monty here at 46 and then come back and get the fall on Burden in the 5th at 51. So he's kind of the best price here. Obviously Adams, those guys, but they're more staples here. So I'm just taking the value on Burden at 51. We get the single running back there and Monty, who I think is probably the safest click amongst these. Outside, I mean, Swift, I think is fine to move up, but between these guys, because of the injury, plus they signed Najee and they've got Tracy, I think Monty's in for a ton of volume this year. And then, yeah, just take some hammers up top here. Chase, London, Smith, and the value on Burden. Here we'd be looking at getting Burrow. Maybe we push him around to try to get him at 75 if he makes it back. Where's our Higgins drafter? Higgins is way over here. And where's Chase Brown? Chase Brown is over here. So yeah, I mean, unless somebody, we've got some no badges in here. You never know what these guys are going to do with Burrow. And sometimes people want to, you know, not give you the stack. Now the guys to my right also are no badges. So if I want the Burrow Chase stack, you know, it's probably safer to take it here. But Warren's coming back. BTJ's coming back. I mean, it's gonna be hard to pass up on one of those guys. How bad is the Warren injury? Have we heard anything? Oh, a week? Shoot. Give me some Warren here and I'll risk it. I'm gonna risk it. Some Warren at 60, not 70. You best believe it. I have a bunch of like options here. I could go Caleb too to stack with Burden. Hurts, I guess Hurts went already. Okay. I mean, I could even take an unstacked May. Like there's no reason whatsoever to take Burrow there. Now, I guess I could get boxed out on these next two, but I'm going to risk that for Tyler Warren at 70 all day. Okay, that's fine. I have Caleb to Burden. That's nothing that I'm worried about there. It's fine. And you don't want every one of your Chase drafts, you know, to like always be stacked with Burrow too. Like you got to mix up your build. So this is an unstacked Chase. We get the fall on Burden. So we're going to stack them up with Caleb. Get the fall on Warren. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, we're going to be a little behind at running back, but I'm just going to slam running backs these next probably 4 rounds and we'll catch up. Probably be like a 6 RB build. Who knows? Something like that. GAB for Life says he wagers that Sack takes a QB likely unstacked at the 5-6 turn. And what did he end up doing? Are we in the 5-6 turn? Right on the money. Lamar Jackson. He's got him unstacked, but he's got the bring back with Higgins. He got a good price here on Abuka, who's been slipping with the turf toe. And Henderson at 61, also a good price. So, yeah, looking pretty good over there for Sacrilegious's build. Hartman says Chargers are using starters for a drive or two tonight. It's going to be interesting if it's a rotation or consistent usage. Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. I'll be tuning in or I'll be looking at the snaps and the box score. I didn't realize there was a game tonight, but now that you mentioned it, I'll be tuning in for that one. Paulino says, thought your process for Gadsden makes sense. It can be leveraged on early Gadsden teams if he does play or has a role. Yeah, I think so. But again, if Hartman says, you know, if he becomes undraftable or he becomes a staple in the 170s for 30% of the remaining drafts in this tournament, then it's not going to have that effect. I took the risk. We'll see what happens. I'll have my chances to take Kolar in the 18th round. I don't know how many chances I'll have to take Gadsden. If Gadsden scores a touchdown tonight, maybe he's back up in the 160s and 170s. So, you know, it remains to be seen. I'm looking at one of these running backs, if not both. I think on these types of builds, I like these profile. I mean, Hubbard was hurt, but like a Dobbins first, second down grinder on kind of a 0 RB-ish type of build, somebody you know is going to have like good production. I think I would be Dobbins here. I also like this price on Sutton though. This is like a really damn good price on Sutton. I just need running backs pretty badly. Man, I hate passing up on him here. Sutton, that is. But I'm going to go with Dobbins. And if Sutton comes back, he's an insta-click. He went right after, of course. Could pull up JCM, or we take Chuba here. Again, he's been repriced, so I'm kind of into Chuba here now, around pick 100 if he makes it back. He doesn't. What do we do here? This is interesting. I think I just pull up like JCM or Kenny Gainwell. Let's go JCM. He's kind of like I think he's a little bit more reliable in a sense, first and second down type of guy. I know it's a little early, but we got the fall on Warren, so I don't feel obligated to take like Pitts here. Pittman's fine, but we're pretty deep at the wide receiver position. Dart, you know, Purdy, I guess, if you want to try to backstack him, because I have the Smith piece, but I don't know. I feel like on this type of build, just to go Monty, Dobbins, JCM, that feels pretty good. We have Williams stacked up with Burden. And then, like I said, we got the fall on Warren here. So pretty balanced at this point. 1-3-4-1. Caleb Williams, Monty, Dobbins, JCM, Chase, London, Smith, Burden, Tyler Warren. Could have gone Gainwell there too. Sometimes Gainwell slips back. Very unlikely, but there's a chance. I don't want to take White though, because he's double Washington backfield, so he's kind of off the table there. But maybe at the turn you take like C-Rod or something. The preference would be a fall on Kenny Gainwell or Kyle Monangai. And then trying to get into the quarterback room. Maybe I push that. We'll see. Bo Nix, actually, if Bo Nix were to fall back, I could kind of consolidate with Denver and then backstack him with Pat Bryant. Deciding how I want to play this. Could also just go unstack Kyler Murray. You don't need a stack with him because he's got the rushing floor. We'll see. I don't want to get some stribs in my life too, especially because this is time boxed and I don't care about what his prices were in the 180s. And he's been tearing it up. He might actually be really good at football. I mean, he did, what was he, like third round draft capital? And there was a lot of doubts about him, but maybe he actually is pretty damn good at football. He keeps making plays like over and over again. All right, we're 2 picks away. Give me Kenny Gainwell, you dog. All right. I figured if he got past this guy might not take him, but he does. Well, we'll take Monangai, I guess. It's a hyperextended knee. I heard, what was it, a month? Am I right about that? Let's look. Deemed week to week. Okay. Considered week to week. I don't know where I heard it, but I thought I heard a month. Maybe he'll be ready by week 1. Not overly concerned about it for this build, but obviously that would be the preference. But that works well with our Chicago pieces. I know he's not a huge pass catching running back, but it fits the build. And then I'd say C-Rod, Aaron Jones, or Chuck. It's one of these guys, I think. I just want this. I kind of like this Shuck, because if you miss Shuck, you're coming back, and then it's like maybe you get Willis, Darnold, but I don't have any pieces with him, so he's unstacked. Daniels maybe makes a little bit of sense here with Warren, but then he also makes sense as a third on a build like this too. I don't necessarily see Caleb in the same way I see Drake May and Jaden Daniels and Lamar. Like, those guys are much better rushing quarterbacks. He's more of a scrambler to me. So he's kind of in a tier below them. He's like the Herbert type, a little bit more scrambler. Patrick Mahomes, Tyler Shuck even kind of is in the same category. So I think I would want to add a third probably. You can get away with 2, but probably will take like a Daniel Jones if he's there and stack him up with Tyler Warren since I got the fall. A real quick recap. 2-4-4-1. Caleb Williams, Tyler Shuck, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, JCM, Kyle Monangai. Man, I need some guys that can catch some passes in this running back room. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Drake London. He's a bring back to the Shuck too. I didn't realize that, but he's going to be a bring back. We have Devonta Smith and Luther Burden stacked up with Caleb, as is Kyle Monangai. And then we have Tyler Warren, who I'm looking to stack up with Daniel Jones. And then we'll be adding probably another wide receiver along with that quarterback, if we can get him. And how's Sacrilegious doing over here? What's he up to? After Henderson, he goes Dowdle and Corum. So it's 5. Yeah, they do love the running backs in the sidekick. Cook, Genty. That's not enough. You got to go Hendo, Dowdle, Corum. And then wide receivers are Higgins, Ibuka, Worthy, Shakir, Dart, unstacked, as is Lamar. But he has the bring back with Dart Ferguson. There you go. Sacrilegious. Dart and Jackson. I do like that pairing, though. That is a fun pairing for quarterback. Probably more running backs than I do. I mean, they go super running back heavy. And it feels like that's like a sidekick Sims type of thing. That might just be, my own observation, but it feels that way. If he is using the sidekick, which my guess is he probably is. I'm going to try to get Jawan here. So if I could get Jawan, I'd go Shuck, Jawan. Yeah, we're going to take it. We got Jones stacked, and then we had Shuck from earlier. So now we get Shuck to Jawan with the London bring back, and we have Jones to Tyler Warren, plus Caleb Williams, Kyle Monangai, and Luther Burden. I mean, we went 3 in the first 3 rounds, so taking a break at wide receiver feels entirely fine. 4 in the first 6 rounds, was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 in the first 5 rounds. So yeah, taking a break at wide receiver feels fine to get these other position groups built out. I think we're plenty strong here at quarterback now with Williams, Shuck, and Jones. Still probably our weakest room with Monty, Dobbins, JCM, and Manungai, but it doesn't feel terrible. Can stop here at 2 with Warren and Johnson. And so much of the remaining focus will be on, I don't know, three more wide receivers, and then we probably tack on 2 more running backs and call it a day. Trying to think of how I want to construct the rest of this roster, though, or where I want to kind of pick my spots. If Tank makes it all the way back, I will take him. I don't see him a lot in the 160s, so, you know, he has his following for sure. Otherwise, we could grab... I was going to click Lloyd, but he went as I clicked that. Trey Tucker coming back now. I'm seeing this a bit more. Not frequently, but it's not non-zero where he's wrapping all the way back around. Four and 5, there is a chance Tank makes it back, depending on how strong this guy feels his core is. He goes Wicks. This guy's got 5. He did kind of what I did, so wouldn't shock me. He goes both Minnesota backs. Kind of interesting. Yeah, we're going to take Tank here. Don't see these prices all that often, so we'll grab him. 166. Then I like Flournoy. I also mentioned Pat Bryant there. We have Cyrus Allen if we want to get into the rookie hype of Cyrus Allen. Thought Omar Cooper was going to be repriced more, but he still is kind of hanging around here. Feels like he should be kind of in this 170s range. Guess it wouldn't be bad to... We wanted to grab him, but he hasn't been getting a lot of good camp buzz. Cyrus has, as has Pat Bryant. Kind of between these 3 for me. Well, I don't take a lot of Cyrus Allen, and I don't know how many of these Dalmatians I'm going to do. So I'm just going to roll with it, and we're going to grab some Cyrus Allen here at 171. Cyrus Allen, welcome to the team. It's a Dalmatian. It's $1 to win $10,000. You know, we'll roll the dice. $1 entry fee, or $1 to win 20,000. 3 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 6, 470 seat final. 20,000 up top. That's pretty good. I think we all want to turn $1 into $20,000, don't we? Coming back here, we're looking at, Tesla, he's been slipping. Wide receiver 3 on a good offense. I don't know. I'm fine clicking him if he's here. We could also grab some Zachariah Branch if we want to grab another kind of rookie. He's had some highlights in camp. Seems to be like a decent click back here. Sacrilegious goes with Malik Washington. And he takes Jennings at 157. Okay. So starting to tap into the tight ends and the wide receivers, making up for all those running backs he took early. We are 6 picks away, picking here at 190 and 195. Trying to think of what I want to do here. And we could go Jaden Blue. We could go, I think Brian Robinson makes some sense. It's just like a high value handcuff. Same like Tank and B-Rob are similar to me. I know a lot of people think Tank's going to get more playing time, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that. Gadsden here in this tournament, not as appealing. Let's go Brian Robinson. And then we'll end this with 2 wide receivers. Actually, should we go? Let's go Tesla. I think Brian Robinson might come back. Maybe not, but let's go Tesla. He's a bring back to all of our Chicago pieces. This guy does go with the Gadsden click. I think here, I even like Braylon Allen, so that's why I was thinking if like B-Rob goes, I kind of like Braylon. He's been getting some steam. And then we'll come back and probably end it with a wide receiver. Branch is interesting. I mean, but I don't know. Like we could get like Chris Bell at the end, or you know, somebody who's like kind of off the board. Booty's also interesting because he could be a trade candidate. You know, rumors swirling he's a trade candidate, and now you have the Higgins injury. So maybe we do take, I don't know if he makes it all the way back. Kind of interested in that. But B-Rob, I don't know. B-Rob, let's get him. High value handcuff. We'll grab him. That gives us our 6. And then we'll just end it with a wide receiver, and we'll wrap up this draft and probably this stream. 4 drafts, 2 Dalmatian 4s, a BBM, and a first quarter. Good times hanging out with you guys today. We went through a bunch of different tournaments, trying to talk through different strategy. Every one that we did kind of offers its own unique set of strategy. That's always fun. What makes best ball fun is it's a thinking game. It's like a puzzle. You got to solve it. See what Sacrilegious does here. No real stacking for him. I mean, he did go with kind of like rushing quarterbacks. Did get a bring back with Ferguson, but otherwise, maybe just drafting off of his ranks. I don't know. He grabs Bateman here at 204. And did I say it? Did I call it? I called it. I said when this thing started and we saw Sacrilegious in here, he would be drafting Charlie Kolar. And he's drafting Charlie Kolar. Good stuff. Right on brand. Hartman says best ball is the puzzle and Kolar is the final piece. He might just be, if Charlie Kolar is on the winning best ball team, that's gonna be hella fun, and it's gonna make me want to play even more. I'm sure for some people it'll drive them crazy, but it's gonna make me want to play even more if he's on the winning best ball team. Promise you that. Kind of like the idea of like Chris Bell here. He is getting some steam, and I don't know if he's like fully practicing yet, but you know, he was one of the guys that people didn't even think was going to be playing. We could go Franklin or Horton or Surratt, but Surratt's kind of interesting too. But let's go Chris Bell. I think he offers maybe more upside athletically speaking. to Surratt. He's more flashy. He's kind of like the AJ Brown type. Lots of yak in his game. So we'll go Chris Bell here as just like a final click. Low ownership, you know. I think he's going to be playing sooner than we thought. Quick recap of this one. 3672. Caleb Williams, Tyler Shuck, Daniel Jones, Monty Dobbins, JCM, Kyle Manungai, and then two kind of high-value handcuffs here in Tank Bigsby, who we get on a fall to 166, and B-Rob fall at 195. Wide receivers, Chase, London, Smith, Burden, 4 in the first 5. Come back and get Cyrus Allen, Tesla, who's a bring back and on a good offense, to our Chicago stack, and then Chris Bell. And then tight ends, Tyler Warren and Jawan Johnson. We have Caleb to Manungai to Burden with Tesla bring back. We have Shuck to Jawan with the London bring back, and then we have Daniel Jones to Tyler Warren. No bringbacks, just a single stack there. 3 starters, not a lot of pass catching chops. I guess Monty's probably the best of those 3. And then Hank's not very good at that role either, nor is B-Rob, but he does catch some passes. But yeah, I think the wide receiver room, at least it's pretty top heavy. The first 4 feel pretty good. Then just kind of taking a swing here on 2 rookies and mixing in a bring back on a good offense who's a wide receiver 3. Don't anticipate him catching a lot of passes this year or necessarily having good yardage numbers, but it's more of a red zone. Can he catch 2 touchdowns in a game and spike into your lineup? I think it's possible. And then Warren, I think he's just a stud. Jawan, he should benefit from the Tyson news, at least early on. So yeah, overall, I think it's a decent build. Probably not my favorite. It's certainly not a sexy running back room, but I think it can work. Let's go look at Sacrilegious's build and see what he did. We already know he has Charlie Kolar, and it's right on brand with this one. He goes Lamar Jackson and Jackson Dart. So double Jacksons up here in the QB room. That's a fun pairing. Both these guys, I think, are smashes for fantasy. Cook, Genty, Hendo, Dowdle, and Corum. He has all 5 of his running backs before pick 100. That's pretty freaking cool. Wide receivers, he goes Higgins, Ibuka, Worthy, Shakir, Jennings, Washington, and Bateman. It's a pretty ugly wide receiver room, in all honesty, but maybe the Sims just, like the Sims love it. Obviously, I like Higgins and Ibuka. Not a big fan of these guys, but can it work? I guess it can work with all that firepower at running back. It'll be interesting to see how, our builds do against one another. And then he goes Ferguson, Strange, Sadiq, and of course, there's no better way to end this stream than Charlie frickin' Kolar at pick 205. Welcome to the squad. So 2574 is his build structure. All right, guys. Well, that's going to end it for this stream. We went 3 hours and 11 minutes and did 4 builds and talked a lot of strategy. Appreciate you guys stopping into the room. If you haven't already, smash that like and that subscribe button. Help me grow this channel. Trying to stream every day between now and the start of the NFL season. We are down to 20 days, 1 hour and 19 minutes until kickoff. I'll be back on again before you know it. Be good, be safe, take it easy. Peace.